Wow, great job, Tim Flaherty.
Tim Flaherty, that
great
was
job.
nice, partner. That was nice.
Man. All right, here in Central Ohio, we know just how big this game is. But the biggest game ever in Ohio State-Michigan history is gaining attention halfway around the world. It is 11 p.m. at night in Baghdad, but our hometown heroes are also getting ready for kickoff. We are proud to bring in, live from Baghdad, Captain Cy Gladden and the rest of the 285th Area Support Medical Command. Captain, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well here in Iraq. We're having one heck of a tailgate party, getting ready for a big Ohio State victory. It means a lot. We've got a lot of Ohio State students, some alumni here, and so it's been real wonderful for our folks to catch this game and hook up with you.
Hey, Captain Gladden, Demetrius Stanley here, sir. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Demetrius?
I'm doing wonderful. Got a question for you. And you know, the polls have come out, and the Democrats have taken over power, and the Republicans are now out. How is that affecting you guys, or does that bother you, or what's your feeling about that?
I tell you what, Demetrius, we, you know, we're here. We're a medical company. We're here to serve the soldiers that are here. We're focused on taking care of soldiers. So wherever soldiers go, that's where we go, and they depend on us to provide that medical care. So it's been great for us, a great experience for all our soldiers, taking care of their fellow soldiers. So that's been wonderful for us.
All right, nice. And can you do me a favor? Turn around, because you're the captain, and say, Demetrius said OH.
Hey, Demetrius said OH.
Yeah.
OH.
Nice. Nice.
They're
Thank you,
pumped
Cap.
up tonight.
Thank you, Captain.
Yeah, Captain, everybody seems very much pumped up for this. What does it mean to you to be able to watch this game? I know it'll be an outlet for everybody for the next 3.5 hours because you're there doing such an important job for us. But how does it feel? Does it feel like you need that kind of an outlet and to have a connection back to the States?
I tell you, following the Buckeyes this season has been a great morale boost for us. It's that motivation, it's that escape that keeps us able to focus on our mission at hand. So it's been a wonderful experience this season, following those great Buckeyes on the field.
Great. Any message you'd like to send to anyone, or are there any messages you'd like to send home?
I tell you, you know, we're all very, very fortunate. The folks back in Columbus support their Buckeyes, but they also support all of us over here. We're proud to be members of the Ohio National Guard, and I can't tell you what a benefit it's been for all the support we've gotten back home.
There's a young lady standing to your right. Whose jersey does she have all the way in Iraq? Whose jersey is that?
Hey, show them your jersey.
Oh, Troy Smith in Iraq. Nice. Okay, nice. Troy Smith's number.
She had no idea she was Smith. Yeah, she had no idea she was going to have to model for us in front of the thousands that are watching. We appreciate that jersey, and most importantly, we appreciate that patch on your right sleeve. That means a lot to us.
Well, hey, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right. Enjoy and have a good night. Enjoy the game.
That's terrific. Hey. Cy Gladden, the captain.
Oh, bring it back. Energy. There we go. Nice.
That's terrific. That's what it's all about. You know what? For them to have that tonight, and hopefully they'll be celebrating just like that after the ball game. When we come back, the best damn band in the land is tuning up, and we will bring them to you live when they take the field. And it's the Bob Evans fan cam. We'll head back out to the tailgating Turtle for more with the fans as they get ready for kickoff. Welcome back to Buckeye Football Fever. Anthony Rothman along with Demetrius Stanley. We can't wait. We know you feel the same. The biggest game in college football just minutes away. And let's head back out to Dana Turtle with the Buckeye faithful high above the tailgating.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, we've got a great view on the top of an RV here. Look at this behind me. We've got hundreds of RVs. Hey, guys, what's going on? Woo! All right, take a look over there. We've even got a good shot of the porta potties, a popular place out here. And hey, this is one of the biggest games of the entire century. That's what it's being built up as. People can't wait for this game to start in just a few minutes. Take a look. Woo! It's being called the game of the century. Our undefeated Buckeyes taking on the undefeated Michigan Wolverines. The hype, it's nothing short of insane as an army of Red fans swarms the Horseshoe.
Dude, it's been unreal, dude. There's so many people here, thousands of people here that I've never seen before in my life, and it's been a real good time all year.
This is a once in a lifetime moment.
This guy is from Boston. He drove 12 hours with his best friend who's from Ohio. He cut classes and work to get to Columbus. He hasn't even had time to buy Buckeye gear quite yet.
This is the best game in college football ever, and the Buckeyes are going to kick some butt today. Go Bucks!
Then there is this OSU freshman, the guy who wasn't afraid to paint nearly every inch of his body in scarlet and gray, along with that huge white O you see on his face.
It's great. I've never been a part of anything this crazy. It's just amazing being down here and watching everything go on.
The hype is so intense here at the shoe. ESPN Game Day has a radio set and a TV set. You can see the crew of thousands of people all over. Within the crowd, I found a few Wolverine fans who bravely dared to walk right through the Buckeyes, offensively holding up those notorious Michigan signs.
We're getting tons of boos, a little profanity in that. Expected, right? People tell me it takes guts to walk around like that, but hey, it's for the love, right?
It's a day full of a little love, some hype, excitement, and adrenaline-pumping rushes. A football game which will likely go down in history as one of the most anticipated of all time. Yeah, no question about that. Now, hey guys, one of the things that they do on this RV every season, every game, they throw out these little footballs on the crowd down below. Come on, guys, throw them out. Woo! Yeah! All right, we'll send it back to you.
Great job, Dana. Thanks. A couple incomplete passes there, a couple complete. We'll hope more for the Buckeyes. All right, band is warming up. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on Buckeye Football Fever.
And welcome back to Buckeye Football Fever, live from the floor of the Horseshoe. This place is about to jump. Steve Hellwagon, bucknuts.com. Can you compare the atmosphere to any other Michigan game?
Well, maybe the one 4 years ago, playing to go to the national championship game, very similar. I mean, you get here at 10 o'clock this morning, there's hundreds of thousands of people outside. There's nowhere to walk, nowhere to go. Can't drive a car down here. It's a madhouse. This town, this is the biggest event possibly in the history of Columbus, Ohio, when you get right down to it. And today's game, I mean, what can we say? The two best teams in college football, the greatest tradition in college football, we're going to see it live here today. This place is going nuts.
Quick take on the X's and O's. This Michigan front seven, Terry Hepner, head coach of Indiana, compared him to the Chicago Bears. How good is this front seven?
Yeah, that might be a little stiff. I don't know, an NFL team, but Woodley certainly at end, Branch at defensive tackle. They got to do a good job, certainly getting those two guys taken care of. Burgess, Harris at linebacker. Those guys are tough. Ohio State's got to establish the run if they want to win this game. Try and hit that century mark at least.
Steve, while we await the appearance of the best damn band in the land at Troy, again, we talked about so much. He really cements his legend with a win here today.
I agree completely. He's got an opportunity today to put that race out of contention for anybody else, Brady Quinn or anybody else. Brady Quinn's playing Army today, play USC next week. Brady Quinn's piled up some numbers these last few weeks, but Troy Smith just keeps getting the wins, and that's ultimately, I think, what's going to win it for him if he can get a victory in this game today.
We've had, I think, 5 people tell us this is the national championship game. Do you agree?
Well, we're calling it the semifinal game, but I think the winner of this game goes on to Arizona as the prohibitive favorite, whether it's USC, Florida, Notre Dame, whoever it may be that they play, or if they play each other again. That possibility I don't think really is that strong, but the winner of this game's got the inside track, no question about it.
Steve, great to see you again. Bucknuts.com, taking care of your Buckeye coverage. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, guys, thanks a lot, and we'll keep you posted on the band as they get ready. You know what? He talked about running the game. I think Antonio Pittman, look for double-digit carries, obviously. This guy really needs to get going. I know you said last week that we needed to maybe start with a pass to open up the run. How do you think about that right now?
Right now, a passing game, in my opinion, because Troy Smith is the passer, is our strength. So open up with something that we know and we have confidence in so that the team right off the bat feels good. Now, the running game. I personally don't think we're going to get much as far as the running game goes, but we can't get away from it. We got to continue to try, pound up the middle, getting outside. And, you know, Wells is the perfect perfect running back for this type of game because of the way he finishes his run. So I hope we can get him in the game, and I hope he'll hold on to the ball. And I don't know if that right now is playing a factor in how much he plays, but I'm sure it is. But I think we'll be fine. We just need to let Troy play ball. Let Troy play ball. Let Pittman keep trying to give him the ball, forcing up there. Even if we get 1 yard, even if we don't get a yard, we can't get away from the run just so we keep them guessing, you know.
All right.
So we'll be good.
A lot of things going on. Everything's been said pretty much. We're going to take one quick break, and we'll be back on Buckeye Football Fever.
And welcome back to Buckeye Football Fever live from the shoot. Time for our Toyota West keys to the game. Let's get it done.
Well, number one, protect the franchise. We're talking about Troy Smith. Got to give him time, not necessarily to throw, at least to step up and run.
Number two, take their heart, H-A-R-T.
Yep, Mike Hart, the heartbeat of this football team. Can't let him get going. They're 17-1 when he rushes for 100 yards. Got to shut him down and make him one-dimensional.
Number three, lock it up, hide the key.
Well, they got to lock it up. They cannot have any turnovers today. Michigan's thrived off turnovers, scored a lot of points off turnovers. They've got to stop the turnover. Got to stop the turnover margin. Both these teams great in the turnover margin. I'm getting so hyped up. I'm pitching on my words. I can't wait, partner. I can't wait.
A lot more to come on the Fever. Stick around. We're back after this. Welcome back to Buckeye Football Fever. Time now for just some final thoughts. You know, we talked Troy. He's had 10 plays in this series of 20 yards or more. I think he's got to come up with some big ones here today.
Well, we talked about he's definitely an X factor, but I really put it on both offensive lines of both squads. They've got to give their offense time to do what they want to do. For Michigan, got to give Hart the room to run. For Ohio State, got to give Troy the opportunity to make those decisions. Will he throw? Will he pass? That's all he needs. He needs that split second to step up and run.
You know, I was talking with former USC coach John Robinson in the press box before the game. He said this hype, this atmosphere is unbelievable. He said Michigan cannot take themselves out of the game in the first 10 minutes. If they don't get down quick, they got a chance. But if they commit a turnover, Ohio State turns it into something, they got problems. They've got to quiet the crowd a little bit, be conservative early. He thought they had a shot to take it to the wire.
Well, Ohio State's got an explosive offense against anybody. Michigan cannot let them jump on them early and big. Got to stay in the game. Look for them to give the ball to Hart to control the clock. So to keep Ohio State's offense off the field, partner, I'm going to get physical on you.
I know you're
going to get physical.
The last 30 minutes, you have been beside yourself. Let's go back to the studio and get Anthony and Demetrius and their final thoughts as well.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. As my partner enjoys the great cookies, Ohio State cookies that Cheryl and company dropped off. It's supposed to be for after the show, but clearly my man is a false start here. They mentioned Michael Hart. He's had at least 90 yards in every game, 6th running back in the nation as far as yards go. And I think the big thing about Michael Hart, he has not lost a fumble since the 2004 opener. We need turnovers today. We've lived off turnovers, turn him into 5 points every time.
Yes, you're exactly right. If we can get Michigan to turn the ball over, that is definitely giving us the advantage. But I think personally right now we have the advantage. We are at home. We have Troy Smith because I believe across the board we're pretty much dead even as far as talent. Defensive front a little bit quicker, but Troy Smith running the ball is going to be the deciding factor of the day. He cannot take sacks. All righty, I'm done.
All right. Keep that smile going till 7 o'clock. Enjoy the best damn band in the land. Enjoy a victory over Michigan. We'll see you at 7.
Football Fever was brought to you by Nationwide Insurance.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we settle back and await the college football showdown everyone has been debating since mid-September. Wherever you are, whatever you do, this is your game. These are your teams. Their dreams are your dreams. It's that big. The biggest to date. In a rivalry rich in emotions and mythology.
Legends are made in this game.
Bo on one side, Woody on the other.
Charles Woodson had an unbelievable game.
This game was a Heisman for me.
Charles Woodson down the sideline. Touchdown, Michigan.
You're judged at Michigan by what you do against Ohio State.
Rex Kern and Archie Griffin. Desmond Howard pulling the Heisman reins.
And today, for the first time in over 100 years, they meet as number one against number two.
When you talk about rivalries, this is the top.
This is the biggest of them all.
Troy Smith is a heck of a football player.
You got to be born with what number 10 just did.
He has a knack to make things happen.
We got a great defense. We'll see how great a quarterback is.
That defense is nasty.
Everyone is watching.
That's the season. There is no other game.
Everyone cares.
This is the national championship game.
Everybody's together.
It's just the best of the best.
It doesn't get any better.
Everybody's there.
Where else is there to be? Say this will be one for the ages.
So who wins in this one?
This is the biggest game ever.
Everybody. Jim Trussell and the Ohio State Buckeyes preparing to come out. Alumni of this great football tradition here in Columbus, helping form the tunnel, and here comes the number one team in the land. Number one versus number two. Since 1990, this is the first time that one team has been asked to do it twice. Remember, the Buckeyes went down to Austin and defeated Texas earlier. So this is a rarity, folks, and a pleasure for me to be alongside one-time Ohio State quarterback Kirk Herbstreit, former Notre Dame head coach Bob Davie. And you know, Bob, we've talked about this game in the last couple of years. The most important figure is Ohio State quarterback Troy Smith.
No question, Brent. I think the most important thing Troy Smith does for this Ohio State offense, he provides them with a margin for error. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to block everyone because he can make plays on his own. Unbelievable amount of pressure on him today. Possible Heisman, possible national championship, but the reality, Kirk, he's faced this every week and embraced it. Troy Smith, to me, is the difference in this football game.
Well, he seems to embrace it, and he seems to play his best game when it's a big stage like this. But I'll tell you what, if you're the Michigan defense, you've been waiting 12 months to get another shot at number 10. And this defense has made offenses all year one-dimensional. They're number one in the country in stopping the run. And if they stop Antonio Pittman, their defensive line, Alan Branch up front and Lamar Woodley, they have to win the battle up front and get pressure on Troy Smith. If they do that, they'll win the game.
Well, the countdown to kickoff now is closing in. When we begin, number 1 against number 2. This ESPN production is available on ABC HD, presented by Dish Network. 19 seniors making their final appearance here in Columbus, Ohio. And just moments ago, quarterback Troy Smith was introduced to this crowd. More than 100,000 on hand cheering Troy Smith, and awaiting him, head coach Jim Trussell. And then it was into the arms of his mother, Tracy Smith, and his sister, Brittany Smith. Such a rich tradition between these two schools. Michigan #1, Ohio State #5 in victories. Troy Smith has won the last 2 showdowns against Chad Henne. 9 Heisman trophies between the two schools. Lloyd Carr with the national title. Jim Trussell with the national title. And both of them trying to get back again to the championship game. The winner, no doubt, will go to Glendale, Arizona to play for it as the Wolverines come out on the field. And you know, when you look across the way, you can't help but think about Bo Schembechler. Of course, he passed away yesterday after delivering his final speech to the team the night before. We can only reflect on what's going through the minds of coaches and players.
The Big Ten has lost a legend and icon. Ohio State has lost an alumnus and friend. The Schembechler family has lost a beloved father, grandfather, and husband. Bo made the game of football better in every way. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and everyone who mourns his passing. Jamie Nix, director of the Michigan Marching Band. To honor America, please rise and join the band in the singing of our national anthem.
And so we settle back. About to begin the showdown with Chad Henne and the Michigan Wolverines against Troy Smith and the Ohio State Buckeyes. And what an honor that is for Bill Lemonnier, the referee. He will bring the co-captains out to the middle of the field, and coin toss about to take place. And in a game like this, normally when you talk to coaches, they would prefer to win the toss and defer.
And Brent, one thing, I've had a lot of experience with Big Ten officials. Sometimes you only think of this in basketball in a big game, but I think it's very important that these officials, and I think they will, let these guys play today. There's some great match outs at wide receiver and DB. Also let them play right up through the whistle.
Captains, honor to be here. Please introduce yourselves. Gentlemen, we're privileged to have Mr. Paul Warfield here to help us with the coin toss. A simple heads and a tails, your call. Heads is the call. Paul, will you do the options? Let it hit the ground. It's come up tails. Ohio State, you've won the toss. Ohio State's won the toss and deferred to the second half.
Well, this is such a great rivalry, but you know, I have 5 others that I put on my all-time best list that I've had the pleasure to be around besides Michigan and Ohio State. College basketball, Duke and North Carolina. North Carolina and Duke. They just keep coming after one another. You go back to the 80s, Magic and Bird. It didn't get any better than the Lakers and the Celtics in the NBA. And then in baseball, the Red Sox and the Yankees. Every year, they seem to bring new drama. Tom Landry and Joe Gibbs, when it was the Cowboys and the Redskins going for NFC titles. But one of my all-time best was these 3 fights between Muhammad Ali and Smokin' Joe Frazier. And here today, we've got a heavyweight battle. Ohio State and Troy Smith against Michigan as we check in with Lisa.
Well, Brent, it is game day, but no doubt for the Michigan Wolverines, players will be playing this game with heavy hearts because of the passing of Bo Schembechler. I talked to one Wolverine assistant coach about an hour and a half ago, and he said, I've been in shock for about 24 hours ever since I heard about what happened yesterday. But all in all, he said, I think we're going to be okay. Schembechler did talk to players on Thursday, the day before he died. I'm told that he talked to them about the importance of this rivalry, the importance of this game, and about how proud he was of them for everything they've already accomplished. Now with more on the Buckeyes, here's Bonnie Bernstein.
Lisa, not much to report on Ohio State's injury front. Left tackle Alex Boone is back after missing 2 weeks with a knee. The field here at Ohio Stadium was actually on IR for a while, but after being resodded a few weeks ago, the players saying it's in good shape. Last but not least, Jim Tressel managed to find a way to entirely lose his voice on Wednesday, but he told me after drinking more tea with honey than I could ever imagine, I got it back. But he said, really, does it matter? They're not going to be able to hear me in here.
And that is the truth, Bonnie. This is one of the noisiest venues in college football. And finally, we are underway. And it'll go out of the end zone, come out on the 20-yard line. Quarterback, Chad Henne. And so, Bob, what do we expect from Chad and this Michigan offense?
Well, Brent, Michigan's played it close to the vest. They've let that great defense win for them. But if you look back to the Notre Dame game on the road, the Penn State game on the road, hostile environment, they came out and opened it up because of Chad Henne. He can handle the pressure of this situation, Kirk.
Yeah, I think it's very important for this Michigan offense to take some chances on 1st and 10 and give Henne a chance on play action.
Preston goes through the formation. Mike Hart, who was not healthy a year ago, on a slant behind the left side into the arms of David Patterson. Now our IBM Star Watch, and there is the note. Hart is healthy. Last week, Manningham, 2 receptions, 11 yards. And last week against Indiana, Preston was a field position monster. 231 total yards. Second down after the Mike Hart run. Needs 7, and there is Preston. They like to use him in the slot. They'll bring him across the formation. Henne changing up in the teeth of all this noise. The three-step drop, slant, got it. To the 47-yard line, Mario Manningham, his first reception and his longest gain since returning from injury.
Everyone worried about Mario Manningham's knee. I think he's healthy. And Chad Henne checked to that quick slant against that Ohio State defense.
Zone defense, a nice vacancy, and Chad Henne in rhythm where he is most dangerous, threw a seed right into the chest to Mario Manningham.
24 yards, and they go right at number 14, the walk-on Antonio Smith, who's now on scholarship. Deeper drop, Henne keeps it in the air and keeps it in the arms of number 86. He comes back to Manningham. And now our city offense. And I want you to focus on number 77, Jake Long. He was playing right tackle last year in Ann Arbor. First play of the game a year ago. He drove into linebacker Bobby Carpenter. Carpenter suffered a broken leg and did not return for the rest of the season for the Buckeyes. Jake Long is a first-round draft choice waiting to happen. He is the left tackle for the Wolverines. Second now and 3. They're going to keep it airborne. They think they can do business against this secondary. Another first and 10 at the 35-yard line. And the Wolverines showing their hand here early. That was Carson Butler, the tight end. And now our city Buckeye defense, all 3 levels are good. Quinn Pitcock, outstanding defensive tackle. James Laurinaitis, finalist for the Butkus. Malcolm Jenkins. Notice they did not throw in the direction of number 2 on that quick slant to Manningham. They know exactly where they're going against this. Jenkins goes over to the right side on the corner now. First down and 10.
4 plays, 3 passes. Michigan clearly trying to take the crowd out of the game. Mike DeBoard, an aggressive game plan so far.
Olebo is the fullback. He'll lead the way. Slash with zone block. Here's Hart. Hard to bring down with a first man. Trying to reach for the first down. Appears to be just a little bit short of it. Antonio Smith making the stop.
Michigan wants to run the football. 65% of the time this year they've run the football, and this guy gets the carries when they hand it off. Mike Hart, great upper body strength.
And one of the things that helps Mike Hart.
More than 100,000 on hand. First time in history that Ohio State and Michigan have met as number 1 and number 2. Not one single third down, and now it is the Buckeye field position star, Ted Ginn, hoping to get his hands on this kickoff. They deploy 2 wingmen at the 15-yard line, the Buckeyes do. Rivas going to take it, and they're going to try to seal him up on the right side. Ginn looking for a seam, breaks free, tackled at the 31-yard line. Let's go back to the big catch by Manningham.
And here's exactly what Chad Henne saw. He saw the free safety in the middle, so he knows he has one-on-one coverage with the corner, Antonio Smith, on Mario Manningham. It ends up being zone coverage.
And watch Antonio Smith's body. He gives Mario Manningham the inside, which is a big mistake and a very easy throw for Chad Henne. When Chad Henne throws in rhythm, he's a very accurate quarterback.
Tressel opens with Troy Smith in the shotgun. And they will throw it. They'll put it in the hands of Ginn, trying to come right back. And that is Hall, the outstanding corner. They decide to throw the first pass, and here is Troy Smith. And what do we expect from the Buckeye game plan here today, Kirk?
Well, I think you're going to see Ohio State try to spread the athletic Michigan defense out with multiple wide receivers and give Troy Smith an option at the line of scrimmage to either go to the run with Antonio Pittman or try to find some one-on-one matchups on the outside, depending on how Michigan's defense tries to come after the Ohio State offense.
Here's your 2nd and 8. Rolling to the right. A strike to Ginn for the first down. So twice they put it in the hands of number 7, and it results in a first down for the Buckeyes. Our IBM Star Watch for Ohio State. Antonio Pittman last year, he scored the winning touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr., though, had a big day with 9 receptions for 89 yards, but it was Anthony Gonzalez who made the catch inside the 5-yard line in the 4th quarter that set the table for Pittman's winning touchdown. Now first down and 10, ball at the 44. Pulling back, looking downfield, got great time. Here's Ginn breaking free, incomplete. Had they hooked up, it would have been 6. Pressure that time from Lamar Woodley, number 56, and I'm sure that the coaches upstairs noticed it.
And we know the key to Michigan is being able to block the front, give him enough time. They get excellent pressure from Woodley, really forced the incompletion as you see Ted Ginn beat Leon Hall down the field.
He beat Leon Hall, and more importantly, he got behind the safety, Jamar Adams. That's something that Ohio State feels they have an opportunity to do if Troy Smith has time, but you're only going to get that many opportunities so often in a game like this.
2nd and 10. And again, Smith firing back underneath to Brian Hartline, his first catch of the game, to the 50-yard line. Picked up about 6, and Chris Graham making the stop. So our City Buckeye offense, and let's focus on the left tackle because you know they're going to have to match up. Alex Boone did not start. Tim Schaefer, the senior, started, but Alex Boone, after missing a game, is healthy. Has been a little bit gimpy on a knee. We expect to see him a lot. He's only a sophomore. He's the left tackle. The tackles and the guards will have their hands full on this Ohio State offensive line.
Better defend quarterback draw every time with Troy Smith back there.
On 3rd down, he'll throw for another 1st and 10 to the 41-yard line, and reaching out is Brian Robisky against this Wolverine defense. We've already talked to you about Lamar Woodley. David Harris, perhaps an underrated middle linebacker, a senior. And Leon Hall, the Buckeyes have not backed away from him. So far, the Buckeyes, 5 plays, all passes.
One of the reasons they like to go to their 4 wide receiver look is to try to see if Michigan's defense will try to take away the speed of Ted again and then work to the inside to Hartline and Anthony Gonzalez.
From the 45-yard line. Smith's in trouble, and there's the first sack of the game, and Rondell Biggs, number 91, is credited with it. Rondell's a senior from Southfield, Michigan, and we have an injured Wolverine down. That's Willis Behringer, one of the 4 safeties we expected to see today.
And Brent, we talk about Tim Schaefer, the tackle right here, starting for Alex Boone, and right here Rondell Biggs. They actually kept the tight end and tackle both in. That is a great effort by the end opposite Lamar Woodley.
An illustration of his power and going right through the tight end.
So while they tend to Behringer, we'll take a break as you look down on the famed horseshoe here in Columbus, Ohio. Top of the hour in the East, and we see that Willis Behringer being helped off to the sideline. So 4 p.m. Eastern time. Sun starting to set here in Columbus. Lights will be on before this one ends. Troy Smith in the face of pressure again, dropping off the screen pass this time. And the very aggressive defense. There is David Harris coming up to make the play, and Woodley obviously exchanging some words with number 10, but the Wolverine front bringing pressure.
The whole key to this game, can they protect? Again, you see a screen pass, they're going to give penetration, not quite that much penetration.
Well, Woodley is one of the best pure pass rushers in college football. Played at 274 last year, down to 250 this year. His acceleration, he went right by Schaefer.
3rd and 16. Here comes the blitz. Engelman trying to get there. Caught. 1st down inside the 25. Roy Hall under enormous pressure. Number 10 shows you why he's the leading candidate for this year's Heisman Trophy.
First of all, really, I think a good job of protection right here. Michigan comes with the safety blitz, allows Troy Smith enough time, and right here, a great throw to Roy Hall. They beat Johnny Sears, number 25, who hasn't had a lot of playing time this year at corner, Kirk.
And that was a great shot at the arm strength from Troy Smith. But if Michigan's going to bring pressure and be in one-on-one opportunities, if they don't get to Troy Smith, he's got the accuracy to burn him.
Let me correct myself. That wasn't Engelman. It was 21 Monday on the blitz. And here comes now Pittman. And he crashes across the 20-yard line. And Prescott Burgess, number 6, makes the stop. So that completion by Troy Smith on 3rd and 16 for 27 yards.
And you see the key already in this football game, Kirk. Can Ohio State protect? Michigan 40 sacks on the season, 24 by the defensive line. It's going to all come down to protecting.
And Jim Tressel's well aware of that. That's why you've seen so many different formations. He's trying to show a lot of window dressing to try to slow down the Michigan defensive front.
2nd and 5, and from the gun, lead to Ted Ginn, incomplete. It was a forward pass, and that will bring up 3rd and 5. Another 3rd down here.
Saw that formation. You talk about formations. They call that the shot Ginn when Teddy Ginn is in that slot right there.
Such a cat and mouse game early in big games like this with so much hype. The coaches who have the perspective that we have, looking down and seeing where the adjustments need to be made after the first 2 offenses have been on the field.
5 receivers. Smith underneath again. Roy Hall's 2nd catch, and he's inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Buckeyes.
And Kirk, you talk about the coaches' flexible game plans. It all comes down to the quarterbacks. Both teams with quarterbacks that can do it all. Michigan at time only rushing 3, and big Roy Hall at about 230 pounds making the catch for the 1st down.
Interesting play call there because they had so many receivers in. Michigan's defense so aware of the middle of the field that they sat back down the middle of the field, and it opened up a nice vacancy underneath.
Play fake. Slant. Another completion to the 2-yard line. Putting it in the arms of the fullback. They slip him out. They told us they were going to include this in the game plan, and Stan White Jr., a good receiver. Watch him come out of the backfield. He's the fullback. There's 89.
And I'll tell you what, I remember when they talked about Tressel ball, field position, great defense, kick field goals. I mean, he's throwing it every down now.
Yeah, and I think that in the history of Jim Tressel being the head coach at Ohio State in the 5 years, in this rivalry, that's been his MO, that he has been aggressive with his play calling and shows some plays that he hasn't shown all year.
The power look on 2nd and goal. Pittman straight ahead will not get there, and now it is 3rd and goal, and this is a tough call coming up here for Tressel. Davey mentioned the one play that he always has over there in his bag of tricks, the quarterback draw with Troy Smith.
And so difficult to defend right here on 3rd down at the 2-yard line. They could run option. They may go power. It looks like they're in 4 wide receivers right now on the 2-yard line, Kirk.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see them spread this great Michigan defense out and give Troy an option to run or throw because of his versatility.
Ohio State better hurry. They're going to call timeout right here.
Troy Smith trots over to the sideline. His final game in Columbus. Played magnificently last year in Ann Arbor and previous year against Michigan here in Columbus. We can remind you now, this is just the beginning of a huge Saturday. Tonight, prime time now. You're not going to want to miss this. Cal, USC, 8 Eastern, ABC, high definition. I know, Kirk and Bob, as soon as we get finished with that, I wouldn't miss a snap in that game.
No, I think this will be, it's a shame it's the same weekend as this game because this is one of the great games of the year. Cal, of course, looking ahead last week when they went up against Arizona, and Mike Stoops was able to pull off an upset, but Cal still playing for the right to get to Pasadena in a trip to the Rose Bowl.
So it's Saturday night football.
And you know, one thing about this game, we look at both coaches wide open. There's good pressure and there's bad pressure. To me, good pressure as we look at Lloyd Carr. You come in here 11-0. If you win, you go to the national championship game. If you lose, the worst, you can go to the Rose Bowl. Bad pressure, you come in here about 6-5, and if you lose, you're fired. So it's a little bit easier, I think, for both coaches to play a little looser and to let it rip. I mean, when that job's on the line, it's tough to throw it every down.
Sure. Sure.
This is the 4th third down of this drive.
Empty set.
Throws for a wide open touchdown, and it's Rory Hall. That's his 3rd catch of this drive. The Buckeyes convert 3rd and 4, 3rd and 16, 3rd and 5, and now 3rd and goal.
Football is a game about preparation. How many times do you think Lloyd Carr and Ron English looked at Jim Tressel's offense in practice against a 5-wide receiver look from the 2-yard line? Those are the little wrinkles that Jim Tressel tries to save in this big game because it means so much. Michigan's defense confused from that look.
Petrie, Aaron Petrie, freshman from Kentucky, tacks on the extra point. This is not what Bo and Woody had in mind, folks, believe me. Just like that, Ohio State ties it up. 7-all, 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Let's go back and look at the touchdown. Some people may say this is a legal pick, but as I said in the open, you're not going to get that call in the big game. Those Big Ten officials are going to keep that flag in their pocket.
If you're an offensive player, that's a rub route. If you're a defensive player, that's a pick.
Coming out on the 20, and somewhere Brian Robisky's father is smiling. That was a big-time NFL move with the receiver crossing over and taking 2 defenders out with a little subtle shove. ESPN's college football on ABC is presented by Best Buy. Wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Allstate, are you in good hands? And Remington Titanium Shavers. Temperature in the high 40s here. No rain or snow in the forecast. Wolverines with the ball for the 2nd time, and they're going to put it right back up, and the receiver fell. They were coming right back, and there is the first slip on the new turf, but there was pressure from David Patterson.
It's the first time that Ohio State has applied pressure on Chad Henne, but he still had enough time, and it's been interesting to see Mario Manningham stay on his feet. If he stays on his feet, that's another completion for Henne.
And I think we're going to see a lot of slippages as the day goes on. The field resodded 3 weeks ago. Hasn't had a chance to seal, and there's a lot of open seams on that field.
2nd and 10 with the power look for the Wolverines. Here's Hart, stretch blocking, trying to get the angle, pushed out of bounds. About the 24-yard line, picking up 4, and that'll leave him 3rd and 6. That was Malcolm Jenkins, the corner there.
And I know Bob Davie just tackled me because he likes to see corners who have ability to cover, who want to come up and get physical. You just hit me. You like that, don't you?
I wouldn't quite call what I did to you a hit, but you're exactly right. That was a great tackle.
You're a defensive guy. All defense. I love myself. I love to see corners in this day and age. Everybody idolizes Deion Sanders. How about a corner that can cover that also likes to come up and hit you?
I agree with you.
Here's Michigan's first 3rd down play. 3rd down and 6. Had time, threw hard for the first down. Bruston, his first reception of the working against the nickel man Donald Washington, who slides to the outside in the nickel package frequently.
And I tell you, not much conversation, if any, about Chad Henne all week. All the attention to Troy Smith. And Kirk, this is just a great throw right there to Breston.
Not to mention going after a player who hadn't been on the field a lot in this game. He goes right to the freshman Donald Washington, like to match up with Steve Breston against him, and puts the ball right where it needs to be.
And a movement by the right guard, Alex Mitchell.
Ball start. 73 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, there's a young man who almost came to Michigan and decided that the wealth of baseball was just too great to pass up. Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, but since he passed up an opportunity to come here, he has always been among the most loyal of Michigan Wolverine backers, and he's among the many athletic stars who are here today. This game generating such a buzz across the country for weeks. First down and 15. He has great time. He's got a man wide open. Incomplete. He had the big fella wide open that time, and they could not hook up. Mario Manningham was headed for 6.
And Kirk, Mario Manningham is the best double move wide receiver in the country. Right there is what I mean about double move. You thought he was wide open against Notre Dame? He was even more wide open right there.
And he's saying, oh my gosh, I had it in the double move. It's because of the way he accelerates in and out of his cuts. And I think Malcolm Jenkins not only gets beat, but was confused and looking around for a safety to help him out.
On 2nd down and 15, protection holds, and they are moving Carson Butler off the line of scrimmage, the tight end who has come on so strong here for the Wolverines. He's just a sophomore from Detroit. They're flexing him off the line, and that's a couple of times that Henne has hooked up with 85.
And you don't think the other receiver gets a lot of attention. Watch Golston right there, a defensive end at 265 pounds. Go take Manningham out.
That's what Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator from Ohio State, says. We can't stop him once he gets off the line. We're going to have to put a defensive end on him to try to slow him down.
They slot Manningham to the left for Henne on this 3rd and 5. Remember, he hit Preston on the last 3rd down. He's got time. Now it comes free. He has to throw that one away. Past the line of scrimmage and out of bounds. The linesman right there on the throw as Henne alertly fires it. He has to get it past the line of scrimmage and out of bounds. The Buckeyes were lobbying, and now they will send Gonzalez and Ginn back deep on this punt. So here come the field position twins for Ohio State. And now Lloyd Carr must show his hand. He doesn't like to punt away from people because he said you can louse it up too easily. There's a penalty, however, thrown by that linesman. They're going to put it in Ginn's hands. And he is down at the 20-yard line. Remember, we have a flag back at the 35-yard line. Turner Booth was the young man who got down there on Ginn. And that is against Ohio State. Bill Lamonier, one of the very best in the Big Ten. They've got some outstanding officials. He's working with fellows like Rick Nelson's got his hands full. He's the umpire today. And here comes your entire list. And just go to the bottom, folks. Tom Quinn was a great referee for many, many years in the Big Ten. He's our replay official upstairs. I know that Kirk Herbstreit, when he quarterbacked games for the Buckeyes, Tom Quinn frequently was his referee.
Defense number 6. That 5-yard penalty would not result in the first down. The penalties decline. Ball turns over. First down.
Good decision by Lloyd Carr. Yeah, Tom Quinn. How many times have you seen Tom Quinn out there for the Ohio State-Michigan game? One of the best of all time from the Big Ten.
I'll tell you, Michigan really dodged a bullet because you're going to get a face mask right there. I mean, a blatant.
Not only that's a 15-yard face mask. They were very fortunate that the referee did not see it.
Stevie Brown, number 30, was safety on the punt coverage.
So Stan White, who scored the touchdown, and at that fullback spot, Jake Ballard, the freshman tight end, moves over to the right side. And Antonio Pittman, number 25, he's into the arms of Prescott Burgess, number 6. And our fine aerial coverage on this beautiful Saturday in November, brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring triple tread technology with 3 separate tread zones for peace of mind in any weather.
Well, we saw the Ohio State defense make some adjustments. It looked like we were going to just continue to see the offenses going down the field, but Ohio State's defense made the adjustments, forced the punt. Now we'll see if Ron English and his troops have a chance to do the same thing.
2nd and 8. Gonzalez in motion, and the Wolverines are chasing him. They throw the slant to Ginn, and he is down just short of the 30-yard line. And the first down markers at the 30. Believe Morgan Trent, the corner who made the tackle.
And I think a developing story will be this field again. We mentioned it was resodded. I mean, right there, Lamar Woodley just slipping coming out of his stance, Kirk.
I'm not so sure that Mario Manningham wasn't slowed down when he broke free on that pass, and that the quarterbacks aren't going to have to adjust a little bit. Ginn has been overthrown. Manningham has been overthrown. This track is slower than you would normally expect here. Remember, the turf has just been down now. for 3 weeks. We were down there yesterday. It is long.
And what hurts you as a quarterback is you lose some of your anticipation if you have to work on the adjustments.
Here's your first down play. David Harris making the stop. As we go back and show you the scene on October 29th, they stripped away the old turf, and it was the second time that this field was resurfaced this year.
I recommend field turf.
Well, you're a booster. Donate the money. It's only $1 million. Give it back.
I'll chip in.
From what I heard about that house you had to party at last night, you can afford to give a little
You guys
bit
didn't
back.
come over. You guys were
We had curfew.
to the wee hours. Huh?
Well, we were preparing for
Preparing to the wee hours.
2nd and 6. Flanker screen, and here comes again. First down again, stepping out of bounds at the 41, and so number 7 has been a preferred target as we check in with Bonnie.
Brown, I talked to a bunch of the Ohio State players before the game regarding the field. Now, they said it was in pretty good condition, but I got to tell you, when guys were taking cuts and warm-ups, a bunch of chunks were coming out as you approach the sideline. And the problem with this field this season has been there's been so much rain, a lot of rain in October, which is why they had to resod it. And then this week, it rained a bunch on Tuesday and Wednesday. They had the tarp down. Ohio State never even set foot on this field until today.
First down and 10, and one thing, Bonnie, both teams are playing, so they're both going to have to deal with it. And here's Pittman for a couple of yards, and it'll be 2nd down and long.
Troy Smith so far 11 of 13 for only 83 yards, and he's off to a great start. But it's interesting. I think that Ohio State and Jim Tressel probably going to go back to the deep ball just because a lot of their throws have been underneath. Would not be surprised coming up soon to see them try to attack the Michigan secondary, especially those safeties down the middle of the field. Continue to come out with a 4 and 5 wide receiver look, spreading the Michigan defense out.
There's a shotgun. He is off to Smith's right. Looking downfield, incomplete. Again, couldn't hang on.
In my mind, I don't think there is a more improved quarterback in all of college football, Kirk, than Troy Smith. It's unbelievable how far he has developed as a quarterback, and I think also off the field as well. I mean, Jim Tressel, well documented. He had some second chances, but he has made the most of those opportunities.
I asked him what's the biggest difference preparing for Michigan as a senior from your sophomore year, and before I could get the question out, he said, the love for my teammates. That shows you how much he's matured.
3rd and 9. Wolverines show blitz. Here they come. Throws it up for grabs. They'll have to punt. So the blitz applies the pressure on number 10, Troy Smith. And the Wolverine defense makes the adjustments Kirk spoke about, and they force a punt.
Anytime you go empty, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. Michigan brings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you better get rid of it quick. Ron English decides to just come after it.
One of the ways to, if they're going to go to the 5 wide receivers, one of the ways to defeat that, as you said, just outnumber them and get to them before they burn you in man coverage.
Exactly.
Preston is back deep. A.J. Trapasso, good punter. They send him over to his left, and he makes the fair catch at the 14-yard line, and he was giving ground a little bit as he made the catch. 44 yards on the punt, 49 seconds left in the first quarter. And Monday night, I'm sure some of those fellows are watching this right now. The Monday night game down in Jacksonville. The G-Men and the Jaguars, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure Monday night game coming up. It'll be available in high definition. If you're a sports fan, I want to put in a plug for HD because it is a whole new game. I'm telling you. First down and 10. Henny back there in the noisy part, completely closed in. Not particularly nimble, and he'll go down at the 11-yard line. Lawrence Wilson, and he's a young defensive lineman, sophomore from Akron, Ohio, 6'6", 270.
Lawrence Wilson provides Jim Haycock depth. He rotates about 8 or 9 different defensive linemen, and that's where you hope as a defensive coordinator to wear down an offensive line because of that depth.
So we've come to the end of the first quarter. Both teams score the first time they touch the football. But then Ohio State and Michigan's defense show up on the next go-round. We're deadlocked at 7 after one quarter.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
One of the great names, the first African-American football player, and he was a star at Ohio State. There's the great Bill Willis, who went on to the National Football League. The AD Gene Smith came in here before the game, and he said, Willis opened the door for fellas like me, and he received a rousing ovation here. Now it is first down for Henne, and the Wolverines were tied at 7 as we start the second quarter. Snap throw on the flanker screen, and putting the ball back in Manningham's hands. John Kerr, the linebacker, the defender.
Another way to get the ball into the hands of Mario Manningham. But what I love to see is that Carson Butler comes all the way over into motion, and as a tight end shows some pretty good athletic ability coming out there to get in front of Manningham and almost made a good enough block to turn him loose.
Familiar sight. Lloyd Carr in the right ear of an official.
A lot of different ways to work those officials now. You can do it with a smile. You can do it with a smirk.
Here's Mike Hart. No daylight. First man didn't get him down, but second, third, and fourth were all over him. James Laurinaitis. Fairly quiet in the first quarter, but not on display.
Well, Laurinaitis gets in there along with John Kerr. John Kerr, they're giving him a chance today. There he is right there making the initial contact. Laurinaitis coming over. John Kerr has not been playing a lot, but because this game's expected to be more physical, he's out there. Laurinaitis, there's his dad.
Father watching from the stands, wearing the Suns, number 33. You, of course, many of you know this story. Professional wrestler known as The Animal, one of the stars. Fourth down. Got the twin receivers back, so different looks on the punt return team. Mesco's left footer is fielded by Gonzalez at the 42. Good field position for Troy Smith and the Buckeyes coming up here. So we'll take a break. The 103rd meeting between two ancient rivals, and the stakes have never been higher. There are a few, but maize and blue-clad fans, they're in enemy territory today. Surrounded by the sea of scarlet and gray. First down and 10 now for Troy Smith. Keeping it for the first time, faking the end around and taking a heavy blow by David Harris, who makes the quarterback pay the price.
Troy Smith, this is, even though he has the ability to run, he has shown that he'd rather throw the ball this year. The fake reversed it to Ted Ginn. He gets into the open field, and David Harris, the leading tackler for the Wolverines, puts it on him.
And I'll tell you what, the most underappreciated player, I think, maybe in college football, Brent. This kid has lost 10 pounds from last year. He's as good as any linebacker in the country, David Harris.
Second and 4. And a spinning move, breaking free, headed for the end zone. Chris Wells, 52 yards. The young man known as Beanie, the freshman and the most heavily recruited running back in the country. Chris Wells ignites a fire.
Chris Wells has had a history of fumbling this year as a true freshman, and Jim Tressel is elected to stick with the freshman, going back to him despite losing the 4 fumbles, and it paid off here early in this game.
And I'll tell you what, you talk about risk versus reward. You see the reward right there when you give the ball to Beanie Wells.
That's why you keep going back to him.
Exactly right.
His longest run of the year, and it comes against Michigan. Aaron Petrie tacks on the extra point. So Chris Wells, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season, showing you where he's from.
Well, Sean Crable from the outside, boom, right there. Would love to have a chance back at this play because he could have had Beanie Wells tackled for a loss, but he's able to get through that initial contact, and then it was just a big hole that opened up through the middle of that Michigan defense. And how about the speed, Coach, that he showed in the open field for a big man?
And that's what surprises me. At 235 pounds, had 99 yards last week against Northwestern, and the best thing, he didn't fumble, and that's why he had an opportunity there to carry the football.
Yeah, he fumbled 2 weeks ago against Illinois, and there was almost that sigh of, oh no, what will Jim Tressel do the next week? And he elected to try to give him the ball, as you said, Coach, against Northwestern, I think to mentally prepare him for this game.
And this Michigan defense, #1 in the country in rush defense. They only give up 29 yards a game now.
The deep return man for Michigan, Steve Preston. The Wolverines trailing for the first time in this showdown.
For the first time, the stadium here has come alive.
On the ground, keeping it away from Bruston. Picked up by the short man on the 17-yard line. So Olivo fielded that and brings it up, and we get an update from Matt Weiner in New York.
Hi, Brent. It's a Taco Bell update from Tuscaloosa, where the Iron Bowl takes a backseat to no game. Auburn has won 4 straight in the series, and it's who else but Kenny. Irons, 8 yards for the touchdown, 14-3 there. Arkansas can win the SEC West with a win at Mississippi State. Not running the ball well today, but leading there. Notre Dame still very much in the national title picture and leading Army 27-3.
And Matt, the Irish will be pulling for USC tonight because they meet them in the Los Angeles Coliseum a week from tonight, and they want to get a shot once beaten USC team. Here is Hart, and now fired up by Wells. Touchdown, the Buckeye defense. So, Kirk, let's take a look at the Michigan timeline.
Well, if you remember, this team came in at number 14 early in the year, coming off a 7-5 year, and I think there was pressure on this team, but I think they had great confidence, and when they went to South Bend and won 47-21, that was one of the best wins of the year for anybody, and they have just continued to roll on both sides of the ball and regain that confidence.
Second down and long for Chad Henne. Here comes a linebacker blitz. Can't find anybody, in trouble, going to go down, and he threw that one away. There's the penalty. Lamagnier is on it, intentionally grounding Antonio Smith.
Number 7 on the offense. Spot foul. Lost it down. Third down.
Keep talking about the importance of adjustments for both of these staffs, and Jim Haycock right now has had the upper hand, bringing pressure. Laurinaitis, the middle linebacker, and Antonio Smith, who's number 2 on this team in tackles, eventually getting there. But you're starting to sense that the Ohio State defensive front is starting to win the battle in the trenches.
And how about Antonio Smith, a walk-on corner who becomes the nickel. They ask him to do a lot, and he does a lot for the Buckeyes.
18-yard loss on the sack. Makes it 3rd and 27. Buckeyes will be looking for number 86. Time uses the middle to get a few of them back to the 25-yard line, and in terms of field position, a little shoving breaks out after the tackle, but quickly officials jump in.
Believe it or not, even though this is a nasty rivalry on the field, you talk to former players that play in this game, and they'll tell you it's one of the cleanest games that they've ever played in their careers because of the respect that these two teams have. But Michigan, I think, a little frustrated there with not having a chance to pick up the first down.
Zoltan Mesko, a big leg, but not particularly quick in getting it off. Let's see what the Buckeyes do. There is a penalty flag. Fair catch is called at the 30-yard line, but there is a penalty flag back at the 30-yard line.
They're going to call roughing the center on this play. I believe Tyler Booth, the center from Michigan.
On the defense, number 38. A direct blow to the center following the snap. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they're going to call that every time. Austin Spittler, number 38, lined up right over the center, and he is going to get into Tyler Booth. Watches the ball snap right there. And people at home may look at that and they say, why? But again, it's another rule for safety. The center is so vulnerable, Kirk.
And the timing could not have been any better for this Michigan team. They needed to catch a break with the game starting to tilt towards the Ohio State side. That was huge, a huge break for Chad Henne and Lloyd Carr.
It came on 4th and 13. Ball down at the Wolverine 40. 4 rushmen for the Buckeyes, expecting Hart, and the linebackers were right there to meet him at the line of scrimmage. One more look at this, Coach.
And the key on this, you have to allow the center to get his head up and protect himself. He never got his head up that time, and that's why it was called.
So it's not so much about the force of contact, it's about the timing.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Exactly. And even though it wasn't the most vicious of rules or of hits, they are going to call that and protect that center.
Well, let's see what Michigan can do with extra set of downs.
Manningham goes out to the right. Antonio Smith locked up. They shade a double team, and Bruston comes in that direction. Looks to set the screen, coming back the other way. Hart eludes the first tackler, but this will be 3rd and long.
One of the ways that Michigan likes to slow down a team that starts to be able to get pressure on their quarterback, like any team, you eventually go to the screen. And Michigan's one of the better screen teams that we've seen this year because of the timing of the quarterback with the line, and Michael Hart's so comfortable. But there is a lot of scarlet jerseys swarming to him there.
And the problem right now for Michigan, they came in #1 in the Big Ten in rush offense. I don't feel like they can run the ball a lick right now.
No, they're going to have to throw. They're going to have to throw to eventually get back to the run.
They're going to bump on Manningham at the top. You can see the corner. On 3rd down, Henne looks in that direction. Can't find daylight. Has to come back to Bruston underneath. Short of the first down. Marcus Freeman. He delivers the hit, but it was clear that Chad Henne wanted number 86. And upstairs, Luke Fickell had signaled down to go ahead and bump on him, and Haycock relayed it to the defense that time.
Kirk, while you play this game, the last game of the year, there are some licks in this football game. I don't think these two teams could play next week.
Now it is 4th and very short. The 3 protectors for Michigan. Mesko is back. Gannon Gonzalez, the return man. This is 4th and very short. They will punt. They'll be content to play field position. Fair catch is signaled by Ginn at about the 8-yard line. So with 7:55 to go in the second quarter, the Buckeyes will take over, leading it by a touchdown on Chris Wells. Explosive run. The freshman putting the Buckeyes ahead in Columbus, 14-7. We're back. Ohio State football. Kirk, that was a big exchange of field position with that penalty.
Huge exchange there. 26 yards that Michigan gained because of the personal foul after Ohio State allowed Michigan to have the ball back. Now they're inside their own 10.
Smith 11 of 15 for 83 yards in this game. He stayed back in the shotgun. Here's Pittman back on the field. And we check in with Lisa on an injury in the Michigan side. Lisa?
Well, Brent, number 19, Willis Behringer, he is now standing on the sidelines with his teammates, but for about 20 minutes after he got injured in the first quarter, he was over on the training bench. They were working on his right knee. He had ice on the knee. As I walked by him, I said, are you okay? And he just shook his head no. It is doubtful that he will return. Brent?
And that's a blow because remember when Chris Wells exploded, He went right in the middle of the field. 52-yard touchdown. And Ryan Mundy, the senior, number 21, back there in the backfield now. Wolverines show blitz. They're coming, and Smith eludes it. And on a comeback route, receiver was left standing. Robisky into the middle of the field. What a play by first Smith, avoiding the pressure, and then Robisky working against the corner. 39 yards.
And there's an old saying sometimes, it's not the X and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And right here, Troy Smith explains what I mean about that, Kirk.
Well, this is a great job of not only Troy Smith buying time to get outside of the pocket, but what you can't see here is Brian Robisky adjusting, coming back to the ball. The near receiver, anytime your quarterback breaks out to the outside, you've got to come back to the ball and a scramble draw to help him. Robisky, for a young receiver, great instincts there.
And Leon Hall missed a tackle. And Pittman now daylight 10 yards on the left side. There were a couple of things obvious on that last play. Number one, Alan Branch lost his footing. The big Michigan defensive lineman trying to close in on Smith. Number two, Leon Hall should have wrapped up Robisky. So one just an unfortunate break for the Wolverines, and the other a big-time mistake by their best corner.
And you also, just another example of how explosive the Ohio State offense is. 1 second they're pinned inside their own 10, and a couple plays later they're already in Michigan territory. They're one of the more explosive offenses in the country because of the way they spread you out, and then they have speed and an experienced quarterback in Troy Smith.
And the amazing thing, I don't think Anthony Gonzalez
not yet
had a ball thrown to him who most people thought would be the difference in this Ohio State offense today in this game.
Instead, it has been Roy Hall who caught a touchdown pass. Robisky's been a go-to guy, and also Brian Hartline. And of course, again, early and often, but number 11, Anthony Gonzalez, remains one of the best in college football, and there's still a lot of time to go. 6:28 now here in the second. Now watch Hall here, and Robisky slips him. The tackle was up way too high.
And his dad, Terry Robisky, Brent, you referred to it earlier, been in the NFL coaching for a long time. He's now receiver coach for the Cleveland Browns.
Second down, powering ahead. Great fake, wide open, Ginn. Touchdown, Ohio State. And it was off a beautiful fake by Troy Smith. A 39-yard explosion. And just like this, the Buckeyes show everyone why they are the #1 ranked team in the country. Petrie adds the extra point. Watch this fake.
Anytime you have a back that's having a pretty good game, and Wells, the safety and the linebackers came up. Ryan Mundy gets out of position. They worked on this play, I'm sure, all week in practice. Teddy Ginn one-on-one for the touchdown.
And you better bump Ted Ginn at the line of scrimmage. You let him off, I don't care how fast you are, you aren't going to catch him.
Timeout in Columbus. It's 21-7, and Troy Smith does it again.
Interesting on this play, Ohio State in a hurry-up huddle, and then an unbalanced line. Look, they have 4, 5 guys on one side to get maximum protection.
Not only that, but how about the timing of the call? The officials had just called a timeout to measure, making it 2nd and 1. They come out in a formation where they run the football, and then they catch him off guard with the play-action fake.
Now Bruston from 1 yard deep. He'll come out for the Wolverines. And he is out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. Cadillac. Check out the Cadillac Navigation event. Going on now. Cadillac, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. Singular, raising the bar, and Aflac. Ask about it at work. So the Buckeyes go 91 yards in only 4 plays with this explosive offense. And Chris Wells has been a major player. He was the running back Troy Smith faked to on the dive play, and he carried out the fake beautifully with Ted Ginn breaking down the middle. Now a somewhat rattled Wolverine team trails by 14 points, and we take a look at the first 4 drives. The Wolverines scoring early, but since then they have bogged down against Jim Haycock and Luke Fickell's defense.
Well, they went 7 plays, 80 yards, went right down the field in complete command. A lot of play action passes, and since then, as you said, Luke Fickell and Jim Haycock making some adjustments. This is not only a big drive because it's 21-7. It's a huge drive for Chad Henne, I think, in this offense to get their confidence back.
Much more pressure on Manningham. Here's a hole now for Hart. Hart breaks into the middle, and he's midfield and down. Stumbles to the 49-yard line. So Hart, 30 yards, his biggest run of the game.
Interesting that Michigan goes back to the bread and butter. We keep talking about how important it is for them to throw the ball, but boy, what a cut by Mike Hart. You want to know why Mike Hart's one of the best backs in the country? Because he can cut just like that on a dime. He takes advantage of Jamari O'Neal and gets upfield.
Good block by Olibo, the fullback, Kirk, as well on that lead draw right there.
Now they release a little pressure. Corners back off here on 1st and 10 from midfield. Somewhat surprisingly, they come right back with Hart after that big run, and this will put him in 2nd and long. Vernon Golston makes the play defensively.
But Brent, we go back to how Lloyd Carr identified, first of all, the problem from last year at 7-5. They lost 5 football games in the 4th quarter, in his opinion, because they were a little out of shape, but more importantly, they couldn't run the football. This is a team that's run the ball 65% of the time. They are still a running team, establish the run first. That's the problem they have right now.
Manningham and Preston working on the left side of this formation. For the 3rd straight time, it's going to be Hart, and this will be 3rd and fairly short for the Wolverines after that run. Brandon Mitchell making the stop. So here comes the 3rd down call for Lloyd Carr, who's busy communicating with his offensive assistants. The coordinator Mike DeBoard moving to that position prior to the season. The biggest change, zone blocking. They worked long and hard with the assistant coaches from the Denver Broncos. And of course, that's a lot of cut blocking at the line of scrimmage. That freed Hart's big run on this drive. But here now is your 3rd and 2. Here comes a linebacker blitz. Henne against it, throws high and incomplete. And there's a penalty flag. The penalty flag is thrown against Malcolm Jenkins. And this will give the Wolverines a 1st down. This is the 2nd big penalty against Ohio State.
15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic, 1st down.
And let's take a look at this, because as you know, in the NFL, you can't touch them after 5 yards. Now the question here, the only question I have, was that football in the air when he collisioned him? Because I didn't really see a lot of holding or anything.
There was nothing downfield. It had to be the initial contact right up near the line of scrimmage.
That official is looking right at the ball in the air, fellas. That's when the flag comes out. Ball goes in the air. You cannot hold up a receiver. 1st down and 10. Ball inside the 30-yard line. Chad Henne's under pressure, sacked him down at the 40-yard line. Golston is there. Joel Penton is there. Richardson in on him.
The linebacker comes, John Kerr on the blitz, occupying 2 offensive linemen. A mistake that time by Mark Beal not coming over because it freed Penton to come right through the interior of the offensive line. A mistake and miscommunication because of the blitz there from John Kerr.
And let's think back when this season started. Everyone wanted to know, could Ohio State's offense score enough points because of the young Ohio State defense. Kirk, they only give up 7 points a game here.
Yep, #1 in the country coming into the game.
2nd and 20. Got his man down the sideline. Touchdown. They put it in the hands of number 16, Adrian Arrington. 37 yards for the Michigan touchdown, and the Wolverines right back in it.
What a play, not only by Arrington, but for this offense. What I thought was interesting is with 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen, the Ohio State defense got caught up in the speed of Steve Breston, and it opened up a huge hole to the outside to Arrington.
Kirk, if you're going to run that wheel route, it takes a lot of time.
Yep.
Great pass protection by the Michigan front.
Revis tacks on the extra point. Back to 7. Michigan scored first in this game. Then they fell back by 2 scores. Then Arrington made it a 1-touchdown game again. Timeout in Columbus. Well, back here in Columbus, it's time for our Aflac trivia question. With the score 21-14. Troy Smith has beaten Michigan twice. Who was the only Ohio State quarterback to beat Michigan 3 times? Kirk, was that you?
No. Rode up on the elevator with him.
No giving it.
No, I'm not. It's definitely your era.
Hey, one of my guys now. I'll give everybody a hint. He once was an athletic director at Northwestern.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. 21-14. And this will come out on the 20-yard line.
Little confusion here by Ohio State's defense. Breston actually is going to go to the post. Arrington's coming out to set it up, and then a wheel route down the sidelines. Confusion because of the corner going to the middle of the field following the post. Yeah, Kirk, look at the vacancy on the outside.
Donald Washington playing outside thirds. Bit the post, didn't take care of his area responsibility on the field. But keep in mind,
the running back for the Buckeyes take over on their own 20-yard line. There's a fake to him. And a strike, and Gonzalez's first catch of the game for a first down at the 31. Mundy, the safety, makes the tackle. Our Pacific Life game summary here, and it has been a wide open, high scoring affair so far. 35 points in a Michigan-Ohio State game in the first half. And you could see the one team's pass for 144 and the other for 161 yards in this game, and the Buckeyes have been lethal on 3rd down. On 1st down, from the gun into Ginn's hands, and that's his 6th catch of the game already.
Ohio State continuing to work with coach the 3 and 4 receiver look, and it's again just to try to exploit the Michigan secondary with Troy Smith's arm.
Well, you know what I read this week? They're talking about Troy Smith maybe a 2nd or 3rd round draft choice. Are you kidding me? Troy Smith, not a 1st-round draft choice. I would take him in the 1st round right now. I don't care if he's 5'11 and a half.
You know the comparisons to Vince Young? I talked with him this week. You know who he reminds me of? Drew Brees. Drew Brees is who Troy Smith is. He's more like Drew Brees than any other quarterback I've seen.
Here's 2nd and 3 now for Troy. He stands in that pocket and hits Robisky again for a 1st down at the 45-yard line. And Pops has got to be awfully proud of Brian Robisky here today.
Well, he is having a great game, and this is an idea of his arm strength. He has the ability to squeeze it in there right into the face of that defense, and look how tight a window that was. But he has such velocity on his throws.
16 of 20 for 196 yards, and takes a lick. I mean, he was smashed by Sean Crable. Number 2 got loose on him that time. Crable's from Massillon, Ohio.
I think Sean Crable's the wild card to this defense. They have done such a good job with Ron English moving Crable around. He's a linebacker, but they move him around and try to confuse the offensive line to get pressure, and that time they were successful.
And Brett, remember Lloyd Carr told us the other night, fastest linebacker in the history of Michigan football.
Says it all right there.
2nd and 10. Here's Gonzalez again, open underneath for another first down. Ohio State steps out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
About every break that we have gone to, Coach and I have turned to each other and said, have they thrown yet to Gonzalez? Because it just doesn't seem like he's involved yet when you knew that eventually they would have to go to him. They clear it out and give him the ball in space.
And tackling at the corner position for Michigan continues to haunt him. You saw Johnny Sears right there miss that tackle on Gonzalez.
Emptying that backfield out again. First down and 10 from the 31. And using the tight end underneath for a few yards. That's Rory Nickel. Troy Smith is spreading the ball around to any number of receivers in this game. Robisky and Hall and Hartline and Gonzalez and now Nickel. I mean, it's amazing how he's dumping it off to everybody. He's just spraying this Wolverine secondary.
That time they used Teddy Ginn and Anthony Gonzalez as decoys to set up a tight end screen over the middle of the field.
2nd and 7. He's going to wing it again. Gonzalez at the 11. That's his 3rd catch on this drive.
Well, they're going to him, and they're finally getting the matchup that they need in this slot with Gonzalez going up against Chris Graham, a linebacker. We did the Ohio State-Iowa game, and that's something that Ohio State exploited against the Hawkeyes. Big holes in that interior of the Michigan defense.
And Ohio State, by spreading the field, throwing it, they've taken this front 7 from Michigan basically out of this football game.
And that defense is just asked to catch its breath.
It's so hard.
Timeout, Michigan.
I'm sorry, Brent. It's so hard for a safety. It's so hard for a linebacker to stay with the slot receivers on Ohio State. You have to pay so much attention with the safety over top and helping against Teddy Ginn, Coach, that it opens it up over the middle of the field.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's go back to that Aflac trivia question. Troy Smith trying to beat Michigan for 3 straight times. Who's the only Buckeye quarterback to have ever done it? And as Kirk says, this is my generation, folks. And he was a pretty good one. As we take a look at him, Tippy Dye. Back in the 30s. Heck, that's before Woody and Bo took over in this rivalry.
Tippy wearing number 50 back there.
What a nice man. Now he's 94, I think, years old now. He made it back for this game.
Well, he was excited coming up in the elevator before the kickoff. He was so excited. He said he had a chance to talk to Troy Smith yesterday at practice.
You look at those Ohio State offensive stats. Keep in mind, this is the number 3 total defense in the country right here as we look at the Michigan defense.
And coming in, you knew that the 4 and 5 wide receiver look spreading the athletic front of Michigan would be a problem. It really was going to come down to Alan Branch and Lamar Woodley getting the pressure on Troy Smith.
But you know, the ball comes out so quick.
Tough to get there.
On first down, another completion. This one to the 7-yard line this time. Robisky the target.
Still 2 timeouts left for Ohio State.
I think Jim wants one of them right now. Now he's got a rule change a few years back that coaches can come out and call a timeout. And while we take this break here, let us check in with Matt Weiner and another update.
Hi, Brent. It's a Verizon Wireless update from the Iron Bowl. Mike Shula trying to get off the schneid. He has never beaten Auburn. John Parker Wilson to Nikita Stover. Short pass, long run, 48 yards. They go for 2 and don't convert, so it's 14-9 there. Arkansas still just 55 yards rushing, but leading at Mississippi State, trying to win the SEC West. And Brady Quinn has thrown his 90th career touchdown pass that leads all active quarterbacks.
Matt, thank you. And here it is 21-14. Ohio State leading Michigan with 24 seconds left in the first half here now.
You know, I think the biggest problem Michigan has against this spread set is they have to play zone coverage. Troy Smith's picking them apart because Michigan, or really anyone else in this country, has a hard time matching up and playing any man-to-man against these 4 and 5 wide receivers.
Well, and because they spread you out with 4 receivers, they still have the ability to get physical with Antonio Pittman and Chris Wells. So it's almost pick your poison with the way their offense attacks.
Let's see what Trussell wanted to emphasize in that timeout. Slant, Gonzalez, touchdown, Ohio State. That's what he wanted to emphasize. Stick it in the end zone. Number 11, 4 catches in this drive. We were wondering where he was, but remember we said a lot of time left for number 11.
Play zone coverage against this guy. He is just picking them apart.
You might as well try to go to a dime coverage, because you're not going to have any success with Chris Graham or any other linebacker for that matter walked out over Anthony Gonzalez.
Extra point is added by Petrie.
You know, when you have Gonzalez here and you've got a linebacker walked here, he's got the option to go whichever way he wants. And in space, it's difficult. He tries to take away the inside, but you're talking about the best wide receiver on the Ohio State team as far as route running, and it's just so hard in space for a linebacker of that size to stay with the quickness of Gonzalez.
What happens, even Michigan runs out of talented corners to try to match up and play man under coverage on 5 quick wide receivers like Ohio State has. Tremendous game plan by Jim Tressel. Brent, you remember yesterday I asked him, is there a chance you'll go a lot of 2 backs to try to get Michigan an 8-man front and throw the ball down the field? Now I realize why he looked at me like I was crazy. He was going to go 5 wide receivers all day.
We talked about it before the game. Yeah.
And the guys, 3 different Buckeye receivers have a touchdown now.
We'll see how this game finishes up, but I can just tell you, as a former Ohio State quarterback, Troy Smith had the best 2 games of any Ohio State quarterback in the history of this rivalry coming into today. In fact, that's all we heard about all week. You wondered if the pressure to live up to those expectations might be too much.
And it's 241 yards. 2.5 games without a single interception. And again, they keep it out of Preston's hands. Fumble, loose ball. And there's still 13 ticks of the clock left here. And the scrum for the football. Buckeyes are hoping. The fullback down there, Olibo, having a little bit of difficulty with the short kickoffs as they keep it out of Preston's hands. Margin is 14. 42 points put up in the first half of an Ohio State-Michigan game. That has to rate with one of the highest first halves ever.
And a great job by Steve Breaston, excuse me, Brent. Steve Breaston coming in there. The point Lloyd Carr makes, Steve Breaston does a lot of things for this football team that sometimes go unnoticed. Big recovery right there.
That was a great example of a good hustle.
Take a look at how the officials are stopping the Buckeyes. Remember the players, many of you have seen this, they cross here at the horseshoe. And right now, let's go to Lisa.
Thanks, Brent. Coach, defensively, your team has their hands full. What adjustments do you have? Defensively, the defense has its hands full. What adjustments do you have to make in the second half?
Well, we've missed some assignments, and obviously we've got to do a better job stopping big plays. We've been a team that hasn't given up big plays all year long, but we gave up 2 today.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Over to Bonnie.
Coach, Michigan's only allowed 12 points a game. What have your spread formations done to neutralize what they usually like to do?
Well, Michigan's a great defense, and our guys have made some plays. We're pass protecting pretty well, but it's a long game.
You got a 14-point lead. What do you tell guys in the locker room to make sure they don't let it slip away?
You tell them it's not enough. Michigan's got a great offense, got a great football team. It's a great game.
Coach, thanks. Brent?
All right, Bonnie. 28-14 at the half. Right now, let's send it to New York. Big John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. Take it away, John.
Brent just as fired up for the throw as he was for the game. It looks like this game is all about Ohio State's offense, but you think the defense is reacting for Michigan?
I think Michigan has to find a way to pressure Ohio State. If you sit back with a 4-man rush and play zone, Troy Smith's going to pick you apart. The problem is when they spread you out, now if you're pressuring, it's man-to-man all over the field. But I'd rather take my chances, go pressure them, and take my chances with that to make a big play defensively.
The problem with that, when you pressure them and Troy Smith, that means you've left the middle of the field. And the middle of the field is where Ted Ginn goes, Anthony Gonzalez goes. Troy Smith and this Ohio State offense is executing. You can dot the I in execution right now because that's exactly what the Buckeyes offense is doing.
Just like dotting the I in Script, Ohio. That's why they have a 2-touchdown lead at halftime. When we come back, we will look at more scores and highlights plus take you through the game you're watching now. Oh, so important. Number 1 versus number 2, plus memorial to Bo Schembechler. You're watching ESPN on ABC. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. And there's a look at the horseshoe, and it's a very happy horseshoe as number 1 leads number 2 by 2 touchdowns in the game. Now, we talked about the Ohio State offense and just how powerful it was, but most of the talk before the game was about both teams' defense. But Troy Smith took the ball down the field time and time again for his head coach, Jim Tressel. Chris Wells, though, busts it, the freshman, 52 yards.
This kid, I watched him play in the high school All-American game last year, and he was a hoss in that game. He stood out in that game. He holds onto the football here, which was the most important part of that run as he crossed the goal line.
Doug, Troy Smith has proven time and time again why he's a great one.
Play action in short yardage, got the safety to bite, lays it up over the top again for the big touchdown. Again, a big play capability. He's been making big plays the entire first half.
Michigan, though, has that trio of receivers that will make the big play. Arrington here with this one.
And you know what? This is their chance right here. Getting the ball out wide to those big play receivers because they got plenty that can score.
But then Troy Smith at the end of the half finds Anthony Gonzalez. And Michigan does exactly what they couldn't do, which was they pull within a touchdown and then allow Ohio State to march the length of the field.
They sat back in zone coverage that entire drive, and Troy Smith just nickel and dime, took him down the field. Actually, on the touchdown pass, the defender had inside technique, and that's his responsibility. Stay there. Don't let the receiver cross your face.
I like that big Canadian Football League ring you got going today. It's shining bright.
Great cup weekend.
Let me tell you about how Michigan can get back in this game. That touchdown we saw to Arrington was a result of Mike Hart running the ball. Michigan has to run the football. Mike Hart has the passion. He can put the purpose back in this offense. And once that play-action pass comes back because of Hart's running ability, they can score the big plays.
USC is in the position right now at number 3, but there are other one-loss teams with a chance to get into that national championship game. One of them is Florida, although they're not going to do it by playing 1AA teams. Tim Tebow, 21 yards on this run.
How about the left-handed quarterback running the option to the right side? Gets drilled going in, but it was Tebow day today at Florida.
Yeah, Tebow on the ground, then Tebow through the air, 56 yards to Riley Cooper.
We've been seeing Tebow all year long out of the spread offense, running with the football in third down situations. Today he gets to throw the ball and be the big part of the offense.
And Tebow again, 21 yards to Riley Cooper again. 62-0 was the final, although it's not going to help them in the computers because it's a 1AA team and a bad 1AA team at that. Arkansas looks like they're going to make the SEC championship game.
And most people will look at this and say, it was a close game. But you know what? We all know SEC on the road at Starkville, tough place to play.
Notre Dame, meanwhile, is going to come down to beating USC to have a chance getting that championship
They've got to do that. If they don't beat them, they're not in. It's out.
A little question about it. All right, elsewhere. Utah State facing Boise State. Boise State remaining unbeaten and looking to do so again. Brett Denton, 27 yards on this run, 14-0 on the blue stuff. Jared Zabrensky, 46 yards to Jared Rabb.
Zabrensky in this offense on the blue stuff. Hey, you know what? They're ducks and geese that'll fly into this carpet all the time. They think it's a pond. It isn't a pond. It's just where Boise State dominates, and they're doing what they need to do to stay undefeated for a shot at the BCS.
Maryland and Boston College. Big one for both of these teams trying to get to the ACC championship game. Big stick there. Jolan Dunbar goes 14 yards.
Dunbar picked up 2 fumbles in the first quarter, returning for touchdowns. Boston College was up 14-0 without running a single offensive play.
Then defensive help here as well. Hollenbach's pass is picked off by DeJuan Tribble.
Yeah, but this here, little celebration. That is not Doug Flutie's style. You know what? But I'll say this about Boston College. Very impressed with Matt Ryan and Boston College. They've come out, and this is a team that's really that's taken control. They might not get into that championship game, but Boston College, I think, is playing as well as anybody in the ACC right now. They need a little help for your Eagles to go
soaring. They do need help from Virginia Tech and both Maryland. Maryland, Wake Forest next week. Huge game tonight versus Virginia Tech.
Do you have any eligibility left? I mean, they're
long gone.
I guarantee you, though, he's got his shorts underneath his suit ready to go play a pickup game.
Always has shorts and a T-shirt underneath whatever he wears, getting ready for a game. When we come back, we'll have a tribute from Mitch Albom to Bo Schembechler.
The Capital One Halftime Show, brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
John Saunders back here in New York. As we know, this game between number 1 and number 2 is sadly overshadowed by the passing of Bo Schembechler. So right now, from the writer of Tuesdays with Maury, a remembrance of Bo Schembechler, Saturdays with Bo.
When Bo Schembechler died Friday, people said it was his time. But it was not his time. Friday morning at a hospital was not his time. His time was Saturday afternoons from September to November. His time was chilly autumn practices as the sun disappeared. His time was any minute he spent on the Michigan campus. Almost everything about Bo Schembechler was contagious, his laughter, his passion, but mostly his fierce loyalty to his school. When he first arrived in Ann Arbor, the facilities he inherited were meager, but when assistants complained about folding chairs and hooks on walls, Schembechler said, "Men, this may be the hook Fritz Chrysler once used. There is great tradition here." He made that tradition precious. He won more games than any Wolverine coach in history. He fought his mentor Woody Hayes in the 10-year war, and he made Michigan-Ohio State arguably the biggest rivalry in all of college sports. There is not an element of the program today that is not touched in some way by Bo, from the current head coach to the team's facilities. As a teenager, Bo and his father once sneaked a peek at a Michigan practice through a gate by an empty field. Today, that field houses a building. It's called Schembechler Hall. When he finally retired, Bo kept an office in that building and was never more than a hallway away from the coach and players. Even Friday, his last day on earth, he was breaking down Michigan-Ohio State for a weekly TV show. That's when death finally blindsided Bo, done in by the very organ that defined him, his heart. It stunned us because he'd survived so many scares, we all thought he was indestructible. And part of him still is, like the part that lives on in the memories of his players. He stood up in their weddings, he visited them in hospitals, counseled their children. He was their coach long after they stopped playing. Bo Schembechler could fill up a room and fill up a moment. He could, as Kipling said, walk with kings and not lose the common touch. So it was his time to go, but it was not his time. That time is this afternoon, when a whistle blows and a foot meets a football. For the first time in nearly 4 decades of Michigan-Ohio State, Bo may not be watching, but he'll be everywhere you look. For ESPN, this is Mitch Albom.
Mitch, thank you very much. Very well done. The Ohio State Buckeyes up by 2 touchdowns. We'll talk about the second half when we come back.
Wherever you are, whatever you do, this is your game. These are your teams. Their dreams are your dreams.
When you talk about rivalries, this is the top.
This is the biggest of them all.
Everyone is watching.
That's the season. There is no other game.
Everyone cares.
This is the national championship game.
Everybody's together.
You're just the best of the best.
It doesn't get any better.
Everybody's there.
Where else is there to be? Say this will be one for the ages.
So who wins in this one?
This is the biggest game ever.
Everybody. And right now, Troy Smith is having it his way. Ohio State 28, Michigan 14. I'm Brett Musburger with Bob Davie and Kirk Herbstreit. And Coach, 21 of 26. What must the Michigan defense do here against him?
Brent, first of all, Ohio State fooled Michigan by going 5 receivers and spreading the field. Now, Michigan's had time to see it. They know when 5 wide receivers are in the game. At halftime, I think Ron English had to find a way to match up personnel, to play some man under so they can contest some throws. If they play zone, Troy Smith will continue to pick them apart.
The problem with that, though, is they cannot get pressure on Troy Smith because they're mixing up the play calling enough, and he's getting rid of the ball before the pressure can get there. So we'll see if they can maybe crank that pressure up here in the second half.
Here comes Ginn. Out just shy. Fumble, ball's down. Ball was marked down. You could see that it popped up. So let's go now to our Best Buy playbook. And it was big plays. It was Wells, the freshman, 52 yards, his longest run of the season. Great fake by Smith, looking for Ginn. Another of his 3 touchdown passes. Gonzalez. And Jim Trussell signaling one more touchdown for a quarterback. Kirk, You and I were talking. I mean, Troy Smith has been unbeatable in big games.
He plays his best in the biggest games. And you always hear players refer to the big games and the opportunities, and we've seen that in his career.
Here he is opening the second half. The throw was low, and Roy Hall sitting down there. So it'll be second down and 10. Our Pacific Life game summary, and just to highlight some of the numbers that Bob Davie was referring to. 241 yards against that Michigan pass defense. 144 yards for Henne. Remember, they went right down the field, Michigan did. With his first series of the game, Manningham caught 3 balls on that drive, and they've shut him down ever since. So here is second down and 10 for Ohio State. Incomplete, in and out of Ginn's hands, and it is suddenly 3rd and 10.
But you know, I love the play calling of Jim Tressel, not getting conservative right here, coming out in the second half. Why he has a 28-14 lead is because he's been wide open and throwing it, and he's continuing to do it. They just have to execute. Ted Ginn was wide open.
I think he just said 4 wide as he sent this personnel package out. Relaying the signal, so then the hand signal is passed on to Troy Smith. He checks the wristband, calls the play. And they got more than 4. They got 5 out there right now. Again, this has been lethal. Again, and a quick tackle short of the first down, and a good stop by Morgan Trent.
It's exactly what Michigan needed to start the second half, down by 14. They needed to get a 3 and out to get Chad Henne the ball back and also show their defense. This defense has a lot of pride. Made some adjustments by Ron English, and I know Ohio State had chances, but the bottom line is they didn't execute, and Michigan gets the ball back.
And you said it, just getting off the field is a huge confidence builder for Michigan, even though Ohio State helped them get off the field that time.
Try to regain that swagger.
This is only the second punt of the game for Trapasso. That's the first 3 and out for the Buckeyes, and off the side and out of bounds, trying to keep it out of Breston's hands. So good field position for Chad Henne in Michigan. 60 yards away, it's only 31 yards on the punt. So there you see the Wolverines scoring with their first and their second drives of the game. Arrington scored that second one, but the Buckeyes pounced back and answered.
And what really helps by Jim Tressel being aggressive, I mean, Michigan has the football right now. Obviously 14-11 left in the third quarter. They want to run the football, but it doesn't look like they're going to here. They're in 5 wide receiver.
Michigan empties the backfield. And a quick throw on the flanker screen, and that's Manningham's first catch since the opening drive of the game. Antonio Smith, the corner, with the stop.
How about Antonio Smith? How about that guy?
Kirk, and they told us yesterday they weren't sure this guy could ever be a starter for them. Obviously, a 3-year walk-on wins a scholarship. That was a tremendous play right there.
Well, he's physical. He's a number 2 tackler on the team, and he's 5'9" and 195 pounds playing the boundary corner.
And he's no way he's 195. No way.
Officially, that was a lateral, so it is a run by Manningham, and here comes Hart. First man cannot stop the little rascal, and he gets to midfield with John Kerr, the linebacker, there.
Tremendous leg strength by Michael Hart. He is going to run through a tackle by James Laurinaitis right here. Great play by Laurinaitis fighting off the fullback, but Kirk, you see the strength of Michael Hart.
Strength, vision, balance, competitive spirit. I think he's the spark plug of this Michigan team, and a big turnaround that they've enjoyed this year.
Third and short in the teeth of 100,000. First down, and Hart breaks free. One man to beat, and he pushes him out of bounds. Malcolm Jenkins, the corner, saves the touchdown. 33 yards for Hart.
And Bo Schembechler would love this one, because watch the fullback, Alibo, right there. A great block on Brandon Mitchell, the safety, up in the box. That is Bo Schembechler isolation football, Brent.
And Bo would also love his left tackle, Jake Long, and the way he took control of Golston, turned his body out and opened that hole.
First down. Come right back with the running play. to the 2-yard line with their opening drive of the second half. Lloyd Carr's Wolverines showing a lot of fight as we open the second half. They're trailing by 14, looking to make it a 7 again.
This is Michigan football. This is what you think about when you think about the Wolverines over the years. It's a big, powerful offensive line in the running game. So much notoriety towards their zone blocking scheme. And they just said, we're going to roll up our sleeves here to start this second half and see who the better man is.
On the first and goal, Hart, touchdown Michigan. Call your friends, folks. Call them right now. This one's getting real interesting.
Isn't it amazing? They start the game with a great drive. They come out in the second half and have a great drive. They just have to sustain it and maintain it right now.
When Lloyd Carr stood in there at halftime and he said, this is what has to happen when we start the second half, this is exactly what needed to happen for Michigan to not only climb back into the game and hopefully for them they get within 7, but also on the sideline there's a different feel. I'm sure Lisa's seeing that right now.
And remember what Bonnie heard from Jim Tressel. Tell him we got to score more. We don't have enough points. Coach Tressel was all over it. 5 plays, 60 yards. We're back to 7. 49 points, and we just started the second half. Of the Wolverines, 3 touchdowns.
Talked so much tonight about passing and 5 receivers. Michigan starts the second half, 5 plays, running the football right down the field against the Ohio State defense to set the tone for them in the second half.
Interesting kicking strategy. The Wolverines content to let Ginn take his chances. Coming out. Meanwhile, they're keeping it away from Preston, and he's down short of the 20-yard line. I want to remind everybody that tonight in prime time, big one out west. California looking for its first Rose Bowl berth since 1958, and they can wrap it up if they win tonight. Meanwhile, USC, well, they're still in the national title picture, and a win will keep them in the hunt. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Cal and USC in the Coliseum.
Cannot wait to see John David Booty and Nate Longshore. What a great quarterback battle tonight in the Pac-10.
How about next week? Brady Quinn and John David Booty.
Yep.
First down and 10, and here is the handoff. Prescott, Burgess coming up to make the stop. And now here is Troy Smith in the big game, just what you talked about here.
This is the 4 biggest games that he's had in his career, and the way he's been able to step up. You see the touchdowns to interception ratio, which is amazing, and Bob just circled that. You include the first half tonight against Michigan. He's just one of these guys that the bigger the game, the better he plays, and the calmer he is, and his team seems to feed off of that.
0 interceptions.
Yep. The Buckeyes spread the field again. 4 wide and 2 tight ends. High and incomplete. Threw quickly, and he was under pressure that time. The Wolverines got heat on number 10. We check in with Bonnie.
Well, Brent, this has been a really emotional week for Troy Smith. As you imagine, he's a 5th-year senior. On Thursdays, all the seniors addressed the team, and Troy told me this week, he said, I knew I would break down at some point, and Thursday night was it. He said, I was standing at the podium looking at all of my teammates. I just wanted them to know how much I love them, how much I appreciate them, and how much a part they have been of my maturation process.
And Bonnie, 3rd and 9. Tressel sends in a running back, Antonio Pittman, for Troy Smith. In that empty look, that time the Wolverines were bringing thunder. That previous play, a timeout has been used here by the Buckeyes, so they use one of their 3 second-half timeouts here. Well, when you listen to Troy Smith talk about his teammates, you just understand the maturity that he has shown under Tressel.
I don't live in this moment for me. You know, I live and I try to do everything for my teammates and everybody else that I represent, because the average student, the average person doesn't understand that the daily decisions that you make affect so many other people. It's not just you in anything. They affect pretty much everybody else.
He is the cover boy for showing progress. Here's a young man who had a little problem. He took some money under the table. He paid his debt, came back. He now lectures youngsters about it, about doing the right thing. I can't tell you how much he has matured, Kirk, since coming to Columbus and experiencing the leadership.
This is the lead. Look at him looking into the huddle. He's sensing right now momentum is swinging to Michigan. He is challenging his team in that huddle to help him out here on this third down.
And did you see the players look back at him? Did you see that big offensive tackle?
Yes, sir. Yep.
3rd and 9, and again the blitz is coming. They try to pinch 10 in, hit him on the release, intercepted on the deflection. Allen Branch came back. Big Allen, ball deflected. First turnover of the afternoon, but it was the heat that was being brought by the Wolverines.
And we talked about halftime adjustments. How does Ron English, with the time he has at halftime, the 20 minutes, come up with a plan to pressure this spread look? This time, though, they only rush 4, flush Troy Smith out. He throws the football into traffic. And how about Allen Branch at 320 pounds?
We just talked about how Troy Smith has never thrown an interception in big games, and Michigan applying the pressure. He takes the chance deep in his own territory. Ball's deflected, and Branch is there to secure it.
From the 25-yard line, more than 100,000 roaring in Chad Henne's ears. Coming back with Mike Hart, he slips on the cutback and still battles his way to the 20-yard line. Strong run. Curtis Terry makes the stop.
And the great thing about Michigan's defense, keeping this game in check early, they allow Michigan to stay within the framework of their offense and give this guy the ball to number 20. Number 10 for Ohio State, Troy Smith, a lot of heart. Michael Hart for Michigan, just as much heart.
This is a lot of times when you see Michigan try to find a seam route to Manningham into the end zone. Once they get you to think about the run, that's when they like to throw the ball if they get one-on-one to Manningham.
2nd and 5. Buckeyes are blitzing. And Hart battling and giving ground of a couple of yards. Third down coming up, and it is huge for Michigan.
Boy, what a change of momentum. Boyd Carr and his staff deserve a lot of credit for the way this second half has started.
Needs 7. Has to throw it away. Under tremendous pressure that time on the 3rd down. Vernon Golston in on Henne.
Great effort by Golston, the right defensive end. I mean, he knocks number 57, Adam Cross, the guard, back into the quarterback. That was a great pass rush by Vernon Golston.
Garrett Revis, 39-yard attempt. And Garrett Revis pulls the Wolverines 3 points closer. Now it's a 4-point game. 28-24 after the Troy Smith interception.
And this is probably the most impressive stat I've seen all year. Let me explain this. Ohio State has turned the ball over now 14 times. That is the first points Ohio State's defense has given up all year after a turnover. That is the most unbelievable statistic I have ever seen in college football.
Kind of one of those hidden notes throughout the season that's become very impressive.
Meanwhile, they've scored a ton after their takeaways, as you could see at the top part of that graphic. And now here we go now. Michigan with a touchdown and a field goal after the turnover. They've closed back in, and here comes again. Searching to get outside. He's out of bounds about the 20-yard line. We check in down below with Bonnie, and there's a flag as they chase again. This will be against the kicking team as they come over after number 7. Costly. But we check in with Bonnie.
Well, Brent, after throwing just his 5th pick all season, Troy Smith was absolutely inconsolable on the bench. No less than 5 of his teammates tried to come up, cheer him up. He would not even make eye contact. Troy knows how much is on the line in this game. The Big Ten championship, the trip to the Rose Bowl, and even though he won't think about individual accolades, if he doesn't step up tonight, we won't be calling him the front runner for the Heisman. Not absolutely, obviously, but this performance could affect that bid.
First down and 10 for Troy Smith and the Buckeyes, who lead it 28-24. Right back to throw again after the interception. Here's Ginn. And he's out of bounds in the arms of Leon Hall.
Obviously, the confidence Jim Tressel in Troy Smith. He's not going to get conservative, and Troy Smith is going to keep throwing it.
I think it's the confidence that he has and the fact that he's going to make good decisions with the ball. Even after the interception, he goes back to that. But this is where you really show what you're made out of as a quarterback when you hit some adversity for one of the few times all season.
With White leading the way, breaking free again. Touchdown, Ohio State. This time, it's Antonio Pittman. The first half belonged to Chris Wells, but they explode the middle again. 56 yards for the junior. And the Akron twins, Pittman and Chris Wells, have done the job.
Well, that late hit on the kickoff gave Ohio State's offense some life and some yardage and room to work with.
Petrie tacks on the extra point. 35-24. Watch the middle of the offensive line here.
Well, first of all, Steve Raring, number 71, comes around on the power play and gets a block. Keep in mind, this is the #1 rush defense in all of college football. Once they crease the line of scrimmage, you see number 22, Jamar Adams, the safety, up so close. There's no one in the second level of defense. And once Kirky broke the line of scrimmage, he was gone.
Well, it was about speed and acceleration once he got through that initial surge for the Michigan defense. But I think Michigan put 9 guys up tight to the line of scrimmage on such short yardage for Ohio State to come up with a first down. Second time tonight we've seen Ohio State come up with a big play when it's been second and very short.
Jim Tressel is simply the best play caller in college football that I've watched in a long, long time.
Michigan gives up 29 yards a game rushing. That can't happen against the Michigan defense. 2 long runs like Ohio State's had tonight.
Deep. Preston will take a knee and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. Let us go to Matt Weiner in New York.
Brent, here's a vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance of the day. Alabama trying to end a 4-game Iron Bowl slump. John Parker Wilson to Travis McCall, 13 yards. The tide has turned Bama up 15-14. To vote for your Pontiac game-changing performance, just go to ESPN.com and type in keyword Pontiac.
We've got a vote, don't we? I think Antonio Pittman.
We welcome you back to Columbus with Bob Davie, Kirk Herbstreit, Lisa Salters, and Bonnie Bernstein. I'm Brent Usberger. Notre Dame took care of Army, so they're on target to head out west next week and play their arch rival USC. Tonight, of course, don't forget, USC and California will tee it up at 8 Eastern time. 35-24. Buckeyes lead it by 11, and we've got a timeout. An Ohio State-Michigan game with already more than 600 yards of offense. 386 for Ohio State. They've rushed for 136 yards, and they've thrown for 250 more. Now they'll try to dig in and stop Chad Henne and the Wolverines, who trail it by 11.
And where has Mario Manningham gone since the first drive?
Deflected, incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
It's a play they hit earlier on the first drive, a quick slant. They wanted to try to get the ball that time to Manningham, but Curtis Terry got back, but it was deflected up at the line of scrimmage by Jay Richardson.
Second and 10 for the Wolverines. Hart slanting to the left and picking up a little better than half of it, and Laurinaitis, the linebacker over there defensively, a very instinctive linebacker.
You see Michigan, they love to run left because of big offensive tackle number 77, Jake Long. I heard Mel Kiper the other day on the radio say this guy and Joe Thomas at Wisconsin, he's only a junior, has another year. They both could be top 10 draft picks in the NFL draft. This guy is a man.
And what a difference it is, Brent, now that he's healthy this year.
Long is the senior. This is 3rd down and 4. And he battling the noise level here. Has time. Fires it off into the middle for the 1st and 10. So the offensive line gave him time, and Arrington, who scored his last touchdown at the end of the first half, 15 more yards for Arrington.
And I really think the injury to Mario Manningham really helped the development of Adrian Arrington. He has become a guy they can count on in clutch situations. Kirk, he beat Antonio Smith, the corner.
In man-to-man coverage.
Hart. And in on that stop is Golston, who has played very well here in the defensive line for the Buckeyes.
We've talked a lot about Troy Smith and his arm strength. Back to that previous play, the arm strength of Chad Henne. He has a tremendous arm.
When I had to go over to the Ohio State facility this week to interview Troy Smith, and I said, if there's one trait about Chad Henne you could have, what would it be? That's what he said, arm strength.
Yeah.
From this hash on the left side, guys, he throws as well as anybody to the right sideline. He has a powerful arm. 2nd down and 9. Straight back, coming deep, got Arrington again. 1st and 10 at the 33, and that demonstrated the arm strength, fellas, right there.
You just said he likes to throw to the right as well as anybody. He just beat the Ohio State defense in man-to-man coverage, and this time they exploit the zone coverage, Coach.
And now they're going to get 3 deep coverage, and Adrian Arrington is going to go right down the seam. Watch the safety run away from him right here. Again, a great timing throw right down the hash. He split the corner and the safety.
Here's Hart. Nothing doing. Tried to bounce outside to the left, and Quinn Pitcock, the fine defensive tackle, senior in the state of Ohio, and he figures to go high in the draft when you talk about all these fellas that we're going to be seeing someday on Sunday. And I'm sure that so many of the great players of the past, Buckeyes and the Wolverines, who are playing Sunday football, are watching this one right now. 2nd down and 10. Throw, and it was incomplete. Pressure was being applied by Vernon Golston. So Vernon's a sophomore from Detroit, and Kirk, he's having a heck of a day.
Yeah, he's been probably the biggest surprise for the Ohio State defense this year. He's just going to overpower Jake Long, come to his inside shoulder. Then he goes through the back, Mike Hart, and still kicks to Chad Henne.
That's an explosive move now, isn't it?
He got a twofer right there. He got 2 over.
3rd and 10. The crowd's barking. Hinney can't get it off because of David Patterson, the senior.
David Patterson is going to beat Reuben Riley, number 72, right there on an inside move.
There's so much talk this year, guys, about how young the Ohio State defense is. You just talked about Pitcock. He and Patterson have really provided leadership.
Going to go here. Going to go on 4th down and 10. Manningham is off to his left. Preston and Arrington to the right. Throwing in underneath. That's Preston, slips on the cut. Ohio State football. Malcolm Jenkins with the coverage. Preston tried to cut back, and his feet gave way on the new sod.
Preston on the crossing route. You know it's going to take yards after the catch. And right there, obviously the turf did give out on him right there.
The turf gives out, and Malcolm Jenkins is there, and safety coming over. You can see why Lloyd Carr decided to go for that, really out of field goal range.
Here's where the turf was torn up. The inside handoff here on 1st down. Chris Wells, who exploded. Let's take you back to the first half, and let's show you Wells. Spinning, middle opens, nobody in deep center field. That was just the first. Moments ago, center field's open, and Pittman takes it to the house.
And you see how many talented players in this game because of how many players have made plays. You know, a lot of big games you see one guy doing it snap after snap. This has been spread around across this entire team.
2nd and 6 for Troy Smith. Penalty flag is thrown by the umpire, Terrence Taylor. We have not had many flags thrown by Rick Nelson, but he was right in the middle of that one. There's Rick. So Dave Perry has sent in a group of outstanding officials here to work this game, headed up by Bill Lamonier. It's an honor, I'm sure, for all these guys to be assigned to this game.
Holding, number 50 on the offense. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
That's the center, Doug Daddish. He was the tackle on the offensive line a year ago. And when Nick Mangold moved on to the New York Jets, and I believe Mangold has missed only 1 snap this year. If I heard correctly on the radio last week, he was out for 1 play, and somebody told me that he had made all the line calls already for the Jets, and he was one of the best centers I'd ever watched over here at Ohio State. He's a good one now. His roommate was A.J. Hawk. How about those two together? A.J. and they're pretty good. 3rd down and 11. Here comes Troy. High. Incomplete. Ball was intended for Rory Nickel, the tight end. Lamar Woodley was applying the pressure.
Again, we're going to see Woodley right there. A little bit of slip. Close to a late hit by David Harris coming on the outside right there. But another big stop by the Michigan defense.
Trapasso on the punt now for the Bucks. Preston's back. He's going to let this one go, and it'll go out of bounds. They angle punt it, and it'll be spotted at the 34-yard line. Well, ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Best Buy. Wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. Pontiac. Go online. Vote for this week's Pontiac game-changing performance. Remington. Titanium shavers. And Discover Card. It's time a credit card put you in the driver's seat. This is Mirror Lake, and of course this is a great tradition on Thursday night. Those youngsters from Ohio State are in there to awaken the spirit of Woody Hayes from the bottom of the lake.
Kirk, did you spend any time in there on a Thursday night?
No.
in school?
No, I missed out on that.
Henney high and incomplete. Arrington, the intended receiver. And as you look down, 100,000 plus here at Columbus, and our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring triple tread technology with 3 separate tread zones for peace of mind in any weather. Speaking of weather, this is about as good a day, Kirk, as I can remember for an Ohio State-Michigan game. Not here, but just up in Ann Arbor, both cities.
We were talking earlier before the game that we like these games to be played when it's about 30 or 40 degrees, overcast, maybe spitting a little bit of snow, but it's turned out to be a great day.
Down 11. Hart, you see that first man can't get him. And he battles for 8 yards. And Jenkins, the corner, Hart is amazing when the first tackler just cannot bring him down.
How about the quickness in the hole after the jump there,
and
Coach?
Watch this move on Brandon Mitchell. He splits the 2 linebackers, but he makes Brandon Mitchell miss right there.
That's nice. What quickness.
Here's your 3rd down and 1. Hart's the favorite. Let's see what the Wolverines come up with here. They're going to try to throw for it. Going long downfield. Manningham. Jenkins jumps for it, and he's got it. Intercepts it. On 3rd and short, Michigan pulls, and Malcolm Jenkins makes them pay. What about this call, first of all, guys?
I don't like it, but it's 3rd and short, and you throw the ball down the field like that. You got Jake Long at 320 pounds at left tackle. Michael Hart just made the safety break his ankles in the open field. I would have run the ball.
They've had so much success running the football. Let's see if it is an interception. That ball
That'll be reviewed.
Yeah, it looked like, I don't think his hands got underneath it. It looked like the ball actually hit the surface. Going to have to review that.
I think you guys are exactly right.
Under review. So the former Big Ten referee upstairs will start to take a look at it.
In the 3rd and 1 call, they wanted the one-on-one matchup with Manningham against Malcolm Jenkins. They got to look. And Jenkins is one of the better cover corners in the Big Ten.
But I guess my point would be, and I understand, if it would have worked, it would have been a great call. I'd probably be on boat right now. But Michigan made a huge commitment, Kirk, as you know. The reason they felt they were 7-5 last year, they couldn't run the football when they had to. That was an opportunity, in my opinion, to show you can run it when you have to.
Not to mention, we've seen this second half, their offensive line take back control of the line of scrimmage.
Minute and a half left here in the 3rd quarter, and upstairs they're reviewing. Some of you might not be familiar with the college rule. It's unlike the NFL. It doesn't always have to be challenged by a coach. Every play in reality is being reviewed upstairs, even though there is one coach's challenge available as you go around the country. Let's see what Lamagne's got
Following
here.
the review, indisputable video evidence, the pass is incomplete. 4th down Michigan at the 42-yard line.
It's the right call.
It's a great job. Yeah, exactly.
And not to mention, for as much as replay has taken a hit, how efficient was that crew with Tom Quinn?
Now, Henney was putting his helmet back on, and Lloyd's got a decision to make, trailing minute and a half left. See, now he brings Henney back. Henney wanted to go out and go for it. There was no question, and they're going to have him sit down. What do you think about this decision now?
All quarterbacks want to
just
go
like Herbstreit.
Right? Yeah,
Herbstreit did the same thing when Earl Bruce was here, right?
Let's go
Herbstreit was all the way out on the field on 4th down trying to go for it.
Henny's wants a chance to attack this Buckeye defense.
Now we'll see if that review helps or hurts Michigan, because you're punting the ball to Teddy Ginn or Gonzalez. They may have been better off if it was an interception.
There's no doubt about that.
Very interesting. I believe the ball was like about the 23-yard line is where the pick was. So let's see what happens. Who gains or who loses here in field position? Ryan hangs it high. So they pick up 3 yards.
There we go.
And it'll come out on the 20-yard line. That was a 57-yard punt. We take a look at the the two quarterbacks. The fellows have missed Brady, or have mentioned Brady Quinn, I should say. 22 of 30 against Army, 217, 3 TD, had a pick, and Notre Dame rolled, and that's what Troy's done here today.
If I may put my studio hat on here, if Troy Smith wins this game with the first half that he's had, the Heisman race is over. It's Troy Smith's trophy to lose coming into the game. If he loses the game, it opens it up for Brady Quinn.
There's Pittman stumbling forward. First of all, I got to needle it.
That's my opinion.
As an alum now. Yeah. Now, you get your chance now. It's still open, right?
Well, first of all, Brady Quinn from right here in Dublin, Ohio.
Sure.
I'm talking 5 miles
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah.
I'm a big Brady Quinn fan, as I've been for 4 years. But if I'm Troy Smith's family, go ahead and get that Super Saver. Get those flights to New York. Get the non-refundable ticket, because you're going.
I'm throwing in my little guy, Mike Hart, into this mix.
Are you?
If they can pull this thing out.
There you go.
Of course, you did say
I'm going to throw Steve. Yeah, if he wins, then he wins the trophy. Steve Slayton at West Virginia.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, loose on the ground. Michigan. Branch is in on it. Alan Branch, who had an interception earlier, and suddenly this game takes another twist.
And Doug Gaddish, who played tackle last year, Brent, you mentioned it, moved to center. You see the cast on his hand right there. He broke that wrist early in the season, or had a wrist injury. Since that point, it's healed, but Jim Bowman, the offensive line coach, makes him snap with the cast on because of superstition reasons. That's the first bad snap he's had.
And here comes Hart trying to stretch it to the left, and he is tracked down from behind. David Patterson was coming from the backside, and Lawrence Wilson was over there, and those two big fellas simply surrounded him. So the final seconds have ticked away in the third quarter. The money quarter, folks, is coming up. ESPN's College Football on ABC returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The final quarter begins with Bob Davie and Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brent Musburger. Ohio State in a high-scoring duel leads Michigan by 11. Second down from the 9-yard line against Laurinaitis, and this stiff Buckeye defense coming up. Into the teeth of the crowd. The closed in. End around. Bruston trying to get free. Needs a block. End zone. Reaches. Touchdown, Michigan. The 9-yard end around. Steve Bruston, the senior from Braddock, Pennsylvania.
What great speed coming around the edge. Jay Richardson had no chance to get to him, and the acceleration that he has allows him to get across the goal line and into the end zone.
And I do see, you see the right knee down, but I think that ball was extended to break the plane of that goal line right there. I think that'll stand as a touchdown.
They will go for 2 here, trailing by 5. They'll chase it now, and there could be a review on this. Yes, it will be under review. When did the knee hit the ground, and where was the football? So Lamagnier will come over. Quinn upstairs will take one more look at this. Now, where's the ball when the knee touches down? Knee down. This one is very, very close. It must be indisputable now. And my guess is that it depends on your point of view. In Columbus, they're saying knee was down. It's short of the end zone. And in Ann Arbor, they're saying he clearly broke the plane.
And that translates to it's not indisputable, right?
That's right.
I don't think that one's going to be returned.
In a case like that, usually they go with the call on the field where the official was standing right there.
Now you wonder, Coach, who do you think's got the edge if they wind up going for 2 on the next play here? A little more time for the offense, but
following the review, indisputable video evidence, the runner did not score. It will be 3rd and goal, half-yard line.
I am making number 20 a prohibitive favorite. And what Lloyd should do is forget about the controversy and concentrate on the next play. This does you no good. Knee was down. That's the ruling upstairs by Quinn. Get to work on the next play. this is wasted time.
Brent, you're right. It's 3rd down now. The ball will be obviously inside the 1-yard line once they get it spotted. And you have to think it's 4-down territory, obviously, right now for Michigan. But crowd noise, such a huge factor right now on these real short yardage plays.
Of course, Henney could try to put his helmet down and go right up behind Mark Beal, the center, or step over behind Alex Mitchell or Adam Krause, one of the guards. 3rd down. They offset Olivo to the right. Hart stop, can't be stopped. Touchdown this time for Michigan, his 3rd of the afternoon. An amazing performance by 5'9" Mike Hart out of Syracuse.
196 pounds. You want to have an idea how powerful this guy is? He's going to run right into a safety and Brandon Mitchell and a linebacker, John Kerr. 2 of the more physical tacklers on the Ohio State defense, and he ran right over top of them to get into the end zone.
Now they'll go for 2. Trying to put it on 3. If they settle for 4, that would be a little different than 5. You can chase it. Timeout, Tressel. Tressel, I believe, is down to 1 timeout left here in the second half with this decision. But he saw something he didn't like. He wants to, whatever he can do, try to leave it on a 5 rather than a 3. So, you know, we came in today and honoring the memory of a great friend of all of ours and all people in college football. I mean, Bo Schembechler was such a wonderful character, and I think how unlike Bo and Woody this game is today. Up and down the field, high scoring, but you know, those 2 rascals are up there somewhere looking down on this and having a great afternoon.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, the emotion on the field every year in this rivalry is unparalleled, and tonight, because it's 1 against 2, not only is it bragging rights, it's of course about trying to get to the national championship, but what the 10 years between Woody and Bo did for this rivalry is it took it from being a great rivalry to being, I think, the best rivalry in all of sports because of the way they were 2 generals going against each other for those 10 years.
And I'll tell you what they'd love. First of all, there's some collisions on that football field.
All over the place.
But more than that, you talk about some young guys stepping up on this stage and just entertaining everybody across the country with some great effort. I mean, this is all we thought it could be right here.
Everybody wanted to know if this game would live up to the hype. How could it live up to the hype?
I'm curious right here why Lloyd is kicking this extra point.
He suddenly changed.
And why the ball is offset and not in the middle.
It wasn't a fake. They changed their mind, and Garrett Rivas puts it on a 4. Puzzling, folks. Real puzzling. Timeout. So amidst the scarlet and gray here today, little maize and blue stands out, outnumbered, trailing by 4 points as Lloyd Carr thinks better of trying for the 2 to put it on a 3. Doesn't want to chase it right now. He's got most of the 4th quarter to go. Mike Hart, 3 rushing touchdowns here today, 135 yards on the ground. Such a huge difference. He was not completely healthy a year ago in Ann Arbor. Troy Smith chomping at the bit. He's had a couple of turnovers here in this game. Again runs up to the 10. They try to put him on that side of the field, and he is down at the 26-yard line. And so Troy Smith, Kirk, with final words from Coach Tressel on what to come up with here.
Legends are made in this rivalry. He's already had a chance last 2 years. Think about this second half and what has happened to him. He has got to be able to regroup. Their first 5 drives for Ohio State turned the ball over twice. They've had 2 punts, and they've mixed in a score. But Troy Smith wants to go to that elite status forever. He's got to be able to find a way to win this game in the 4th quarter.
4 down linemen for the Wolverines. Offensive line holds, and he snaps it off underneath. His second completion here of the second half as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. It has been the Mike Hart show as far as the end zone is concerned for the Wolverines. 3 touchdowns, tremendous fake the first half, hitting Ginn for the touchdown. Then Gonzalez, and in the game Smith with 3 touchdown passes. Hart rushing for 3. 2nd down and 3. Pittman banging his way for a 1st down.
You know, Kirk, you bring up a great point. I mean, in a game like this, you're either remembered or forgotten as a coach or a player how you do in this game. It's not about the body of work. Bottom line, all the season was great, but it comes down to the 4th quarter right now, what your legacy is.
That's right, for both teams. And I've been very surprised here in the 2nd half to see Ohio State going away from that 4 and 5 wide receiver look that helped him so much to generate those points in the 1st half.
The power I formation, sticking on the ground with Pittman. One of the little subplots, the Heisman Trophy. And of course, through the years, these 2 great schools have won their share. Eddie George in attendance here today. He won it for Ohio State. Desmond Howard was on the set earlier. He won one up at Michigan with that famous pose in the end zone in a game against the Buckeyes.
And there's the 5 receiver look that we just talked about.
2nd and 6.
They're blitzing it, playing man.
A strike. Ginn spins around to the outside and out of bounds, but he crosses the 40-yard line to the 38.
Lamar Woodley with the blitz freed him up to get pressure on Troy Smith, and he was just a hair too late in getting to Smith. And when you don't get to Troy Smith and you're man-to-man on the outside, Morgan Trent against Teddy Ginn, if he doesn't make that play, there's nobody else there, and he almost went around him for a score.
And that's why if I'm going to play man-to-man on Ted Ginn, I come up and press him and bump him at the line, even though he has great speed, Kirk, because I think he's more dangerous after the catch.
1st and 10, the ball at the 37-yard line. In underneath to the tight end, crossing Rory Nickel and out of bounds on the far side. Good 1st down play.
And you talked about Jim Tressel. You mentioned a little bit earlier, just a second ago, you're a little surprised he's not opening it up a little more in the 4 and 5 wide receivers. Once he got a little field position, he got right back to what got him to this point, Kirk.
Troy Smith's mother and his sister watching here. 2nd and 4. There's Troy, and that short of the 1st down, so this will bring up a 3rd and short.
And Brent, let's go back just, I'm a little surprised, as we all were, of Lloyd Clark kicking that extra point to make it a 4-point game here in the quarter. And why he didn't go for 2, I'm still not really sure why.
Right now, he's more concerned about stopping this 3rd down play here. Ginn comes to the bottom of your screen. That's Gonzalez in the slot. Ever dangerous from that spot. Fumble. Ball's on the ground again on a bad snap. Daddish, who snapped one high a short time ago, has another bad snap. And Michigan takes over.
Goes back to your point, Coach, about how he doesn't have a good grip on the football.
Well, and he has that cast on that right hand, but Kirk, he's gone about 5 weeks straight of not having a bad snap. But you know what? A lot of confidence. People don't think about shotgun snaps or punt snappers. When you lose that confidence, it's hard to get it back. He never had the grip on that football.
Yeah, he never had control of the ball at all. It slipped out of his hand.
When you talk about guys being remembered or forgotten on this game, Daddish right now has to bounce back.
1st and 10 for Henne and the Wolverines. Down 4. Under pressure. Dropped by Manningham, who is coming across the middle as we check in with Matt Weiner.
All right, Brent, here's a singular ESPN All-America Player of the Week update on Boston College linebacker Jelon Dunbar. Big BC win over Maryland to keep their ACC title hopes alive, and Dunbar played a huge part, 14 tackles, and tied an NCAA record by returning 2 fumbles for a score. Text VOTE to 87654 on your singular phone.
2nd down and 10 for the Wolverines. Henny going to run Mike Hart on a cutback. He gives ground, and this will be 3rd down and short coming up for Michigan.
Talked so much tonight about what Troy Smith has meant to this rivalry, but how about Chad Henne? Chad Henne right now, the ball is starting to come into his hands in a position to be remembered as well in this rivalry. Played it early as a freshman and a sophomore. It didn't go his way. This is a quarterback that's been on the road at places like Penn State earlier this year. He's been to Notre Dame. He's been to Columbus twice. His poise is crucial here as the Wolverines try to come back to win this game.
Slot formation to the right. Needs 3. Fires for it. Incomplete. Preston was not free. All over him, Donald Washington that time. And it brings up a 4th and 3.
Another great stop by the Ohio State defense. We showed that graphic a little bit earlier about sudden change after a turnover. That time they bounced back after giving up 10 points in the 3rd quarter after turnovers. What was he thinking if you read those lips right there by that Michigan fan?
Mesko back to punt. Guillen and Gonzalez back deep for the Bucks. They set the return. Guillen's got it on the 16 and thrown down at the 15-yard line. And terrific coverage that time by the Wolverines as they come right down the field with Darnell Hood, the captain of the special team. Ohio State football, 10:38 remaining in the 4th quarter, 35-31. Buckeyes with the football, coming out from the 16-yard line after Darnell Hood's tremendous tackle on Ted Ginn. And we have a story about Hood that we'll tell you about here momentarily as Buckeyes come with a conservative draw play. During the week at Michigan, Hood played the role of number 10 Troy Smith. He's a speedster, a one-time defensive back. He's been the captain of the special teams for Lloyd Carr's Michigan Wolverines. And watch this tackle on Ted Ginn. One hand pulls him down by the jersey, keeps him shy of the 20-yard line, and there's the young man. And Lloyd Carr said to him at one point during practice, if I'd have known that you could throw the football that well, I'd have put you in quarterback.
Great to see guys take so much pride in their special teams work. That's his job.
Watch this shotgun snap right here. Great snap by Gaddish.
And 2nd and 8, there's that fake, and Smith's going to take off himself. Steps out of bounds at the 29-yard line with a 1st and 10. And Kirk, let's go back here now to the last 6 drives by the Buckeyes.
And it's amazing to think that in the first half they scored 28 points. They had 1 punt. Ron English, the defensive coordinator, you could tell he's made some changes. The turnovers, Ohio State has hurt themselves, but the Michigan defense has played very well in this 2nd half, considering how explosive Ohio State looked in that first half.
Ron English, he's done an outstanding job as the new defensive coordinator this year.
Has to be up for the Frank Broyles Award for the Assistant Coach of the Year.
1st and 10 for the Bucks. And now timeout Michigan.
Timeout.
Well, both teams now down to 1.
2nd team timeout.
Ooh, that's not a happy camper right there. He is all over his safety. Remember, he lost Willis Behringer earlier in this game. An Ohio Stadium record, 105,708, as they see number 1 versus number 2, Ohio State, Michigan. The winner will go on to the national championship game. 1st down and 10. And a Great fake again by Smith as he hands it off. It's like a draw play. Here's Pittman. Daylight sideline. Finally pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line. David Harris.
Well, it's a draw play after they fake to the left, and the play opens up. It's really a matter of whether Antonio Pittman gets to the outside. But look who is downfield. Doug Daddish downfield on Adams, the safety. He's 25 yards downfield. He obviously has the body to take care of that, but he needed something to get him back into this game.
The old Statue of Liberty, but how about the lick by David Harris, the linebacker on that sideline?
26 yards for Pittman. He, too, is over 100 yards rushing here today. Power look. And beginning tomorrow, folks, you can download all the action from today's game as well as other classic games. You can mention 73, 97, 02 from the storied rivalry only on iTunes. That's iTunes. So you can download it all tomorrow. And by now we've had 66 points put up on the board. And Chris Wells checked in as the running back. He had that explosive run in the first half. The freshman. Pittman with 125 yards. Wells with a 52-yard touchdown. Looking again middle and sealed up by the Wolverines.
35-31. Under 9 minutes to go. Big debate in the last few weeks is, could we see a rematch if this game were close in the national championship?
Do you want the best two teams to play on January 8th in Glendale? Just answer that one question. Do you want the best two teams?
I came in with a pretty strong opinion, not wanting to see a rematch. But after the way this game has gone, a lot's going to depend on USC tonight against Cal and then next week against Notre Dame.
I'm very content to watch the last 20
oh, yes.
of this one.
Oh, yes.
3rd down and 5. Showing blitz. Stands on the slant. And a first down, Ohio State, as he comes back. And he hit number 9, Brian Hartline, redshirt freshman from North Canton, Ohio, who has become a factor in the passing game.
And they had receivers, 3 receivers to the left. He wanted to get the ball to Hartline the entire time, and Hartline had to work hard to get off Johnny Sears, who was physical in his coverage and did a good job, but Hartline did not give up on the route, and neither did Troy Smith.
Antonio Pittman reports back in. Number 25, the running back for the Bucks. He is right behind fullback Stan White Jr. Buried, and this will bring up 2nd and long. Well, just what you were talking about, Kirk, are all-state BCS standings, and they're 1 and 2, but don't rule out the Trojans. If they run the table over California, Notre Dame, and UCLA, they got a factor. Then we've got Florida, Arkansas from the SEC, Notre Dame trying to claw up. And did you ever think that you might be saying Rutgers and national championship game in the same breath? What a job by Greg Schiano and that coaching staff and the players at Rutgers. 2nd down and 10. Pressure, hit on the release, incomplete. And a blindside rip by Lamar Woodley, who was in on number 10 that time.
We talked a lot about it, Ron English making adjustments. One of the adjustments I'm seeing is Anthony Gonzalez is one of the best receivers on Ohio State's team. Leon, there's a big hit, like you said, from Woodley on the outside, untouched. One of the adjustments is trying to put their best cover corner on a slot receiver in Anthony Gonzalez to shut him out.
One of the biggest adjustments is standing Woodley up in this football game and getting him away from Schaefer and Boone and letting him blitz from the linebacker spot. What an adjustment by English. No wonder he's been coming from that spot. He's their defensive end over there, and he was tied up in the first half. 3rd down and 10. There's a whistle before. Smith debating it.
Delay a game. Offense.
He thought he got it off in time.
5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
This makes it 3rd and 15 now.
Interesting to see what Ron English, the defensive coordinator, does on this call. They've been playing man-to-man coverage and blitzing this 4-wide, 5-wide look, but on 3rd and 15, I look for him to play zone. The front four needs to get a pass rush right here for Michigan.
Gonzalez is your slot man now, and he is off to the left. He has made so many big plays the last couple of years for the Bucks. Looking in that direction. Smith has to take off. Dance is free now. He'll throw incomplete. And a penalty flag. Michigan will debate this. Crable over on the near side. Smith was going out of bounds. Personal foul. A huge call with 6:49 to go.
The thing that Sean Crable did is he came high towards Troy Smith's headgear. Anytime you lead with your helmet, that is not to mention it was out of bounds, but if you lead with your helmet, you're going to get called for that every time.
No question, an excellent call right there.
Helmet to helmet.
Huge call.
3rd and 15. That'll give the Bucks an automatic first down.
That's the toughness there of Troy Smith. All his teammates always talk about his leadership, the intangibles, and the toughness of trying to get up from a hit like that. Sean Crable from Massillon, Ohio.
He can complain all he wants.
Yeah.
There was helmet contact on the near side.
And if you're Michigan defense, let it go. Play to hold him to a field goal right now.
First down and 10. Got the slant. Got a first down. Robisky. No, wait a minute. They're going to spot it, maybe adjust a little bit short. Let's see.
Troy had to slide the line to the left. A blitz coming from the left. It's picked up, and it's a one-on-one matchup with Robisky against Morgan Trent. Makes a good move, and the ball's thrown on the money.
And Morgan Trent, who is Michigan's fastest DB, again playing off man-to-man. Ron English playing a lot of man-to-man coverage here late in this football game.
So second down and short. And Smith keeps it himself. There's your first down signal for the Buckeyes here. Clock down to 6 minutes. Of course, near the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and to honor their determination, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. I can certainly remember Troy Smith winning it in Ann Arbor a year ago with that wonderful performance. Here he's up by 4, 5:55 to go. See how Trussell sets it up. If he's content for a field goal, if he'll attack, if he'll open it up, if he work on the clock, he's going to fire for it. End zone. Got it. Touchdown. Goes back to Robisky. Brian Robisky as Jim Trussell fires away.
Well, that started with great protection from the offensive line.
And the confidence you have in your quarterback if you're Jim Tressel. Troy Smith throwing the football.
They're going to check the feet over there on the far side on this reception just to make sure that Robisky has one in bounds and control.
It's a designed fade stop by Ohio State to come back, and Morgan Trent slips.
Let's see if he has the foot in bounds on possession here.
It's too high there.
Boy, he's in.
It looked
Great
like a
call.
It looked like it.
It did, didn't it?
Looked like there might have
Yeah.
been two blades there.
Look at that. That's
even...
great technique right there. And I'll tell you what, to make that call and to be focused as that official right there and have his eyes down, that was a great job now.
Perfect position.
Great mechanics.
And you go back to the Sean Crable late hit on 3rd and 15 to keep the drive alive.
No question about it. That helmet to helmet there on the near side.
Yeah, that is great mechanics right there. Big time call by the side judge to stay focused.
John Lusavanski. I'm not sure I pronounced his name right, but that's the side judge on this fine crew assigned by Dave Perry to this game. 41-31 extra point time. That is the fourth different Buckeye with a touchdown reception in this game.
11 plays, 83 yards, and more importantly, 5 minutes off the clock.
Petrie tacks on the extra point. The Buckeyes are 5.5 minutes away from playing for a national championship. Aerial coverage of the showdown in Columbus is brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring triple tread technology with 3 separate tread zones for peace of mind in any weather. Last chance time coming up for the Wolverines now. They're down 11, 5.5 to go. Preston yanks it down. He's going to come out. He's short of the 20-yard line. And ESPN's college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. Chevrolet, America's brand Chevy and American Revolution. The City Premier Pass credit card, rewarding, very, very, very rewarding. And Verizon Wireless. Folks, there's the best deli in the east of the Mississippi right there. That's Vlada Yanikevsky. War number 13 was a great kicker for Woody Hayes. He's so good even Michigan ordered sandwiches. They got 160 of Vlada's specials waiting for you in the bus afterwards. And 2:30 go to Ohio State. They're the home team. Tripped up was Manningham that time. Smith's on him.
And that is the first catch for Manningham since the opening drive, when he had 3 in that opening drive.
Second and 5. Got the first down. Remember, the clock will stop as Arrington picks up the first down momentarily, but Michigan needs to keep hurrying.
And that's a great point, Brent. In college football, as a quarterback, when you're in this kind of offense, it's all about getting first downs and getting out of bounds, salvaging as much time as you can. Chad Henne is in a comfort zone here, having done this many times.
Comes back underneath to Hart. Not much doing on that play.
I think one key point here for Ohio State's defense. I don't think Ohio State's forced a turnover today, but they have 21 interceptions on the year, which is #1 in the NCAA. So they're throwing into a secondary right now that picks some balls off.
Security moving in. Jimmy Haycock keeps fresh defensive linemen on the field. There is Manningham, and that's a first down at midfield, and that is a big play. Laurinaitis back defending for the Buckeyes, and that's 17 yards.
Well, again, going back to Mario Manningham.
7 o'clock Eastern time. We're just an hour away from USC and California. If the Bears can go in and upset the Trojans, they'll go to the Rose Bowl. And with Bob Davie and Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. We're wrapping up another classic between Michigan and Ohio State. Slipping at the 44-yard line. That's Arrington. Malcolm Jenkins there.
Something to keep in mind as you're watching the clock is Lloyd Carr has expended 2 of his timeouts. We're under 4 minutes to go. They're down 11. Every second counts and is precious, and they only have 1 timeout remaining.
And he can throw this one. Beautiful throw. And hanging on is Arrington. He took a lick from number 33, Laurinaitis, and held on. And look at him bounce right back up.
I've been really, really impressed with Adrian Arrington. Now this one's going to come back, but since the injury to Manningham, as you indicated earlier, Lloyd Carr is fired up.
We're going to get a hold on Reuben Riley on Vernon Golston right now, but that was a great hit by Laurinaitis.
Holding, 72 offense, 10 yards, previous spot. Still second down.
The thing that's so impressive about James Laurinaitis, how deep he got on that drop. But let's go back and look right here. Reuben Riley, the big offensive tackle. I think Vernon Golston at the top, number 50, has played an excellent football game. And there's the hole right there.
Second down and 14. Henney. Deflected, incomplete, now off the receiver's hands. Third down coming up, 14 yards for the Wolverines.
Defensive coordinators, when they get into this situation, and Bob, you know all about this, is you're dropping back into coverage, trying to keep everything in front of you so you can come up and make the play without Michigan picking up a first down.
Jimmy Haycock, the defensive coordinator, and Bob Davie, he's done a superb job.
Remember when this year started, could Ohio State's offense score enough points to help this young defense? Their defense has been outstanding all season long.
Lost 9 starters from the defense a year ago that won the Fiesta Bowl. Lost a great trio of linebackers led by A.J. Hawk. Now 3rd and 14 against Haycock's defense. Henney will not get it off. He is sacked. Jay Richardson, number 99, the senior from Dublin, Ohio, is in on the quarterback. That is the 4th sack of the game for the Buckeyes, and his 2nd.
When you pressure with 4, it allows you to drop 7 and play zone. And when you can get pressure with 4, that is gold for a defensive coordinator. The play before, we saw Riley hold Richardson. This time Richardson gets around Riley and through Mitchell to get that pressure.
Jay Richardson's had a great senior year. That's his 4th sack on the season.
Right now, the fellas from USC, Florida, Notre Dame, Arkansas, Rutgers, they're just happy to have that extra touchdown tacked on by the Bucks. And so what happens to these teams in the Big Ten? Well, here's our bowl breakdown presented by Capital One. The Rose Bowl, and of course Ohio State will move on to the national championship game if this lead holds on, and then that would give the Rose Bowl the first pick, and perhaps they will quickly select Michigan if they don't draw an assignment in the championship game. But there's your Outback Bowl, and the rest of them where these Big Ten teams go.
We've come a long way, Brent, haven't we? When the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game possibly ends up in Pasadena.
But what about if we had a playoff start in 2 weeks from now? You couldn't blame these coaches for resting their starters in this game. So everybody wants that playoff. Think twice about it.
Here you come now, 4th and 16 at 2:55. Time goes deep. Down to far side. Incomplete. Manningham interference. Michigan retains possession. Jamaria O'Neal, the safety. Michigan still alive.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
If you're sitting at home and you're saying that wasn't pass interference, I don't want to hear about it. Because if you're a defensive back, one of the things you never do is turn your back completely to the ball and have no idea where the ball is. Whether or not he touched him or not is irrelevant. An official will call that every time when you don't know where the football is.
An amazing thing about Mario Manningham, you know the double move is coming. You just can't stop it. The great thing about college football, 15-yard penalty and not the spot of the interference.
Great thing for the defensive team.
You got that right.
He's talking like a
only
defensive
looking
coach.
for only one perspective.
Of course.
First down and 10, and here's Henney. Firing high and snapped down by Manningham. He's out of bounds on the far side. Stops the clock at the 36-yard line.
And guys, I am really impressed with Chad Henne. His strength, arm strength, composure. He has played an excellent football game tonight.
19 to 32 for 232 yards. More importantly, the numbers, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. And then, of course, we're inside of an hour, and it'll be the showdown in the Coliseum. USC and California still ahead of us. 2nd and 4. Firing, diving, rolling catch for a first down. What a brilliant play that was as Mike Massey slips out. The tight end, watch 83 here.
Again, too deep coverage, and you see Mike Massey in that scene. Mike Massey, I believe, had a brother play here at Ohio State
and at
as
Michigan.
well.
And at Michigan, so he has an interesting background, but a great catch from a young man from the state of Ohio.
1st and 10. Henney high and incomplete, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Carr's got to get the ball thrown, obviously, downfield. Now that they're out of timeouts, things like a sack, things like coming up short with the ball staying inbounds, short of the first down. That would be, obviously, problem there for Chad Henne in this Wolverine effort to get the ball into the end zone.
Second and 10, Manningham on the sideline. Away from the pressure, still has to throw and does. Complete, touchdown Michigan. Bounce right back, and it hit Tyler Ecker. So two fellas who have not caught a ball all day, Massey and Ecker, catch them here, and now Michigan closes back into within 5.
Outstanding job. Bob, you and I have talked about Chad Henne, the composure. We just talked about how he's been in this kind of situation. He's comfortable in this kind of situation, leading his team down. And a great job of showing composure on that last throw, stepping up through the teeth of the defense and finding the tight end.
So the question becomes, can they close it to within 3? And then will Lloyd Carr go to an onside kick? 1 timeout left. 2:16 up on the clock. First things first, 2-point conversion time. Throws for it, and he's got it. It's a 3-point game on Breston's 2-point conversion. 42-39. The Classic continues in Columbus, Ohio. Number 1 and number 2. We're back in Columbus. Let's go back to the touchdown, guys.
Well, it was patience. That's the most important thing when you have a tight end coming underneath. I think it was his last option there, is you have to have enough time. He steps up, and I think it looked like Marcus Freeman lost the tight end there in coverage out to the flat.
What a great job by Chad Henne of throwing on the run, not scrambling, but scrambling to throw.
Now it becomes critical. Garrett Rivas and Kirk, as you and Bob both pointed out, out of timeouts, they've got to go for the onside kick. They line up now. They show that they're going to kick it to the kicker's left. Here it is, onside kick, battle for the scrum, and Ted Ginn right there wraps it up for the Buckeyes. Remember now, Michigan out of timeouts. 2:13 to go here for Troy Smith. Take a look at the hands here for number 7.
Well, Jim Tressel would tell you that Ted Ginn has the best set of hands on the football team. Fortunate for Ohio State, it went directly to Ted Ginn, and unfortunate for the Michigan special teams.
And now if you're Ohio State, stay out of the shotgun, get the quarterback under center, and just protect the football.
They've had 2 misconnections on snaps. One high back in the gun, and the other a complete misfire. Both of them turnovers. Now they come back with the powerful back. Antonio Pittman, 9 yards on first down. That's what's coming up next at 8 Eastern. California and USC. Again, if the Bears win it, off to Pasadena they march. And who knows how this is all going to shake out with the BCS. We have an injured player down for the Wolverines. I think that Kirk brought it up, and my personal sentiment is I'm not in favor of a rematch.
Yeah.
I would like to see the Pac-10, the SEC Big 12, I guess they don't have a contender. I realize, and I can argue, these are the two best teams in the country. I know that argument. I think it's valid. Bob, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I think the two best teams should play. And I think clearly these are the two best teams. The problem I have, tonight's the national championship to me, because 50 days from now, I don't think that's fair with that kind of layoff. I think you're seeing the best team in the country tonight and the best two teams in the country tonight.
I said before the game, the loser's out, and I still feel that way. I think USC, they're the wild card. If USC wins tonight against Cal and they win out, they should be in that championship game.
Now on every snap, of course, Lloyd Carr's defense will try to strip the ball as he keeps an eye on that clock.
One thing I'll add, this becomes very relevant. If USC wins tonight and Notre Dame upsets USC, and you're a voter, and you're looking at this Michigan team that just battled against Notre Dame, didn't Michigan play Notre Dame earlier this year?
It was very valid.
And I think they went to South Bend and put on a clinic.
Milking the clock. Snaps it on 2. Game over. Ohio State will play for a national championship. The Buckeyes beat their arch rival again. Jim Tressel, 5-1 against Lloyd Carr. Let's go down below to Bonnie.
Jim Tressel, such a tight game. In your mind, what helped number 1 emerge over number 2?
Well, those are two great football teams. And our team has got a lot of belief in one another. They love one another. Got a lot of humility, and they just keep playing.
Now that you've played this team, what are your thoughts on a rematch in the national championship game?
We're going to enjoy today the Ohio State-Michigan game and the Big Ten championship. Thank you.
Our scene in Columbus. They saw a great game. And the Buckeyes showed everyone why they've been number 1 all season long. They have answered every bell. Their only struggle down in Champaign against Illinois, and they simply bounced right back. And here today, they beat Michigan.
This Michigan team, after going 7-5, has so much to be proud of, and the way they fought tonight. Tough week with everything that's happened, of course, with the passing of Bo Schembechler on Friday. I thought they played with a great deal of character, and Lloyd Carr did a great job of keeping his team together as a group, and they played inspired.
So the students and fans pouring onto the field here. 19 seniors, including quarterback Troy Smith, played their final game in Columbus. And already the newspaper headlines are out. 1 to go. That'll be played down in Glendale, Arizona. So our Chevrolet players of this game, as you would expect, Mike Hart, 3 touchdowns with 142 rush yards for Michigan, and of course the brilliant Troy Smith. 4 more touchdowns, 3 consecutive wins over Michigan. Only the second quarterback in Ohio State history to accomplish that. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And Laurinaitis' father amongst those happy right now and waiting for his son to emerge from the victorious locker room as the Buckeyes come up big again, just like they did, fellas, down in Austin, Texas when we were there, and in Iowa City.
And one thing I hope everyone appreciates, as a former coach, I know this, from start to finish, number 1, taking everybody's shot. Troy Smith early in the season, everybody's favorite to win the Heisman, going out there week after week after week and embracing that.
I'd like to say one thing, Kirk, and it's not to your neighbors. Enjoy this celebration, but keep it peaceful.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Show some class.
Exactly.
Show some class. I think a couple things were determined here at the The end of this game, Ohio State off to the national championship game in Glendale, and I think Troy Smith secured the Heisman Trophy in New York City in a few weeks.
I think one other thing, Jim Tressel is a great football coach. That was an outstanding game plan tonight. I believe he took Michigan by surprise with the 4 and 5 wide receiver looks, and they didn't recover until halftime.
Nothing but respect for what Jim Tressel has accomplished here in Columbus, Ohio. And you watched him here again today. 503 yards of offense against a team that was stifling opponents all season long. Troy Smith puts up 316 yards and throws 4 touchdown passes. Pack up the Heisman and send it to Columbus, Ohio. Once again, the Buckeyes come up big in the biggest. 42-39. The final score over the game Michigan Wolverines, who came in here today with a very heavy heart because of the loss of their legendary former coach, Bo Schembechler. So that will wrap it up here for Bob and Kirk and me from Columbus. Again, 42-39. Bucks win it. And a big reminder now, California at USC coming up in less than an hour, 8 Eastern time. And also stay tuned now for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report after this from our ABC stations. Michigan, Ohio State. After a century plus, the stars aligned, and America came to Columbus. How great was this? Young athletes admired. Legends remembered. A hard lesson learned. An historic victory earned. Only in America, only today, until the next time the stars align. This game in memory of our friend Bo Schembechler.
10. If it's Cal, they'll go to the Rose Bowl. If it's USC, they'll go to the Rose Bowl or to the national championship game. As we look at the scene still out there in Columbus, we begin the argument right now. And I will argue the case first for the University of Michigan. To me, what I just witnessed in this game were the two best teams in college football. If I were a voter, and I'm not, but if I were a voter, I would leave them at 1 and 2. I don't know what the computers are going to do, but I would leave these two teams at 1 and 2, and there'd be a very good chance they could play again for the national championship.
But I don't think the computers is what Michigan has to worry about, or you have to worry about. I think the computers are still going to like Michigan.
Well, you have
I think it's the voters, and I am an AP voter, but that's not a part of the BCS equation. I'm on the AP side of it. Right. But I'm here to tell you, man, that Michigan has proved that they are one of the best once-beaten teams out there. It was a heck of a game by them. But at the end of the day, Ohio State's offense got 500 and something yards on them. I mean, that's a lot of yards to give up. So I'm not sure. I said before the game, no way a rematch. Now I'm thinking there is a chance for a rematch because Michigan is a heck of a team. Yeah. But you have to look at the collective deal. Florida, if they make it through the SEC and the strength of schedule, which changes weekly, Florida deserves a shot at it, as would Arkansas if they make it. USC, if they beat Notre Dame, who's going to say USC's not playing in that game?
Florida played a 1AA team today. You look at USC, their loss was to an unrated Arizona State team. If they beat Cal has a loss to Arizona, rather. I mean, USC's loss was to Oregon State. Arizona beat Cal. I mean, things are not lining up nicely for the rest of the teams.
I'm jumping on John's boat there right now. I was dead set against the rematch going into this, but looking at them today, they are the top two teams in the country, Ohio State and Michigan, no doubt in my mind. But does Michigan deserve another shot? Today was their national title shot I believe. So that's why I wouldn't put them in that national championship game. I would go to one of those other one-loss teams, only because they've had their chance. It's somebody else's chance.
But people are going to say, they're going to argue, all the people out there for Michigan are going to argue that Michigan, now they have their loss, and it was to the #1 team in the country on the road. So you can understand the argument for Michigan. No question about it. I could put that hat on too. But I'm just trying to say it's very subjective. And this is where the craziness of this system comes into play. Yet it's also where the beauty of the system comes into play. Because we're not the only three out there debating this issue right now. This is a great debate. Who should be able to play Ohio State? USC has to win and do well. Florida has to win out, or Arkansas, or Notre Dame.
The only thing that I don't like about this system, and I don't want a playoff, maybe a +1, but not a playoff. What I don't like is it's not necessarily how many you lose, but when you lose.
And you know what we haven't done? We have not mentioned the name Rutgers. We have not mentioned the name Rutgers in this conversation here. Now, is that fair to Rutgers? A BCS conference school, should they go undefeated and beat West Virginia at West Virginia? Hey, what's up with the Scarlet Knights?
What if the game that we just saw was the first week of the season? Will we be talking differently now? I think so.
Yes, we
But
will.
I agree with Craig on Rutgers. My firm belief is that the team that goes undefeated deserves the shot.
Right.
Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know.
Okay.
But they deserve a shot. And I do believe Michigan is the second best team in the nation right now.
If you are a BCS conference team like Rutgers and you go unbeaten, I agree, you definitely should be playing in the championship game. It's going to be a wild last few weeks of the season if it's anything like it was today. We'll continue with the 13 Colorado postgame report in a moment.
It's party time, Columbus, Buckeye style. 12-0, never felt so good. 42-39, it's back to the desert, right, Buckeye fans? You're going back, right? The glasses tell the story.
Don't bother me. I'm getting some sun. I'm getting some
Unbelievable game. All right, now I can focus. Buckeyes, little stall there in the third quarter, but they turned it on when they needed it most. And the running game, they ran on Michigan like nobody's done this year.
That was wonderful. I thought it would be a tough going for us to run the ball, but we came out early with Troy throwing the ball, got them worried about Troy, and then we were able to open up, and Chris Wells. Great run. You know, had the fumble. That was awesome, the breakthrough there. And then the spin, he got right off the bat, got through the hole, broke a tackle, and made it to the end zone. That was great. They did a wonderful job.
Let's go out to our team trying to do a great job in the mosh pit. Clay Hall, you're there, buddy, and the feeling is the same.
Anthony, thank you very much. Really a game befitting a national championship game. Ohio State's third straight win, 5 out of the last 6, and as you said, Arizona bound 4 out of the last 5 years, and this is what it's about. The Stadium Edition, 1 to go for a Buckeye National Championship. Rob Harley, your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, it wasn't pretty out there. Both defenses got run and passed on all day. The Buckeyes got it done. Troy got it done, made some errors, but I wasn't impressed with either defense today. Ohio State running at will on them, 2 big runs. Ohio State throwing all over them. Mike Hart had a big day, but they just couldn't score enough points.
You got to be thrilled with the domination. 5 out of 6 now against Michigan.
Well, I'm telling you what, they're going to be screaming for blood up in Ann Arbor with Lloyd Carr up there losing now 3 straight to Tressel. Tressel seems to he's got a hold up on Lloyd Carr's throat right now.
Show it to us one more time. 1 to go for a second national championship in the Jim Tressel era. 1 to go. It's headed back to Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go inside the winner's locker room and head coach Jim Tressel.
Well, we're still trying to find the other captains. Let's go ahead with the opening statement from Coach, and we'll get an opening statement from Quinn. Hopefully the other guys will be here by then, and then we'll take questions. Coach, please remember before you ask questions, when we get to that phase, to raise your hand and use the hand mic, please.
Well, I don't know where to start, with our seniors. What a special bunch of guys that have just worked and led, and everyone told them beginning last spring that you know, we couldn't be a great team because we lost so many great players, and these seniors, you know, just decided that they were going to do whatever it took to lead a football team to reach its potential. You know, the amount of love that's evident between our players and this senior group it's amazing. And what I've appreciated about them the most is that they've just continued to be humble and just look for ways to get better, and just you know, anything we've ever asked they've done, and you know, they've fought like crazy, and everything hasn't been perfect, but they've never given up. And you know, Michigan's a great football team. Everyone saw that, and you know, they weren't going to give up because you know, that's the way they're built. And you know, I can't say enough about them either. But you know, these guys up front right here, Troy and Quinn and David and Doug, you know, they're extraordinary at what they do. It's really amazing, and our crowd was out of this world, and I'm sure the TV audience enjoyed it. I don't know. That's it.
David Patterson.
What's up? First, I want to just take my hat off to Michigan. They're a great football team. They really battled us hard out there. They were physical. They played hard. But this is, I don't know, I can't even explain it, the feel I'm having right now. This happiest moment of my life. You know, we put in so much hard work with these guys up here and all the younger guys and the summer workouts and all the film study, and, you know, it's just great. You know, it feels so good when you work really hard for something and everybody's all together. You know, we've been stretching this whole year, just one agenda. And it wasn't just a phrase. You know, guys on this team, we did have just one agenda. No egos. Everybody, we loved each other. And, you know, I just thank God. Let's just thank Jesus.
Good Pitcock.
It goes back to just all the seniors, you know. Seniors and Coach Truss on the 02 team, really. I think us coming in, Dave was the only one that wasn't there with us, a few walk-ons, but we learned a lot from that 02 team. You know, that they had so much heart and character, and throughout the years we've grown as men through Tressel and his teachings. You know, I think he's tries to do that first and foremost before being a football player, and you know, I think that's what the love and the character of our seniors have really brought together this preseason. And just, you know, like Dave was saying, just one agenda. We set our mind to what we were going to do, and we've done it. And, you know, I still can't really believe that we're 12-0. You know, Michigan, it was a battle today. And they are one of the toughest teams we played, or it is the toughest team we played all year. You know, hats off to them. They were unbelievable. They were not going to let down at all. You know, one of the best, the heart, best back we face. And he just sitting in the pocket, just knew he had, you know, time to throw, and just threw a perfect ball. You know, they're a great team, and they're going to, you know, represent the Big Ten well.
Doug.
You know, first off, hats off to Michigan. They really gave us everything that we thought they were going to give us, and they played hard. And this is, you know, like we said going into this game, it'd be the most physical battle that we'd face all year, and it definitely lived up to that reputation. I think that this game as a whole, as you look at the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, as big as it was, you know, the Judgment Day that goes on, I guess it kind of typifies what the rivalry truly is. And it was great. This is the most fun I've ever had playing a football game in my life. It was just an incredible feeling, and you know, I'm just so proud of everybody on the team. I think that since I've been here, this has been the single most team effort that's gone into through the week of practice on into the game. I mean, there was guys, the kickers, everybody usually kind of stands by the heater. Those guys weren't standing by the heater tonight. They were out there waving the towels around, getting the crowd going. I mean, everybody was just crazy. The fans were electric, and you know, this was a great atmosphere and a great win for Ohio State. And you know, we're just super excited to get that outright Big Ten title from 1984, and now it's 2006. So those guys can look at that sign like I've looked at it for 5 years, and they can look at the 2006 sign. So I'm just super proud of everybody, you know, and it was great.
Troy Smith.
What more can I say, man? Hats off to the University of Michigan. It was a hard-fought battle down to the last second, but man, I'm at a loss of words right now. I was downstairs with my teammates, and the overall feel of everybody is unparalleled. You wouldn't be able to understand unless you've ran the gashers that we ran the hills that we ran, pushed the sleds that we pushed, played Powerball. We got a game called Powerball, too. We play a lot.
He gets into the open field, and David Harris.
Sand pits, when that heat and that sun is beating down on your back in the summer. The commitment and the focus. Focus was a key word for us today, and everybody focused in. Words can't express how I feel right now. I'll probably be wearing this smile, for the rest of this week. I love every single one of my teammates with the deepest passion you can probably have for another person. Our staff did a great job today putting us in the right calls and the right situations. You got to fight, though. Persevere. And the 2006 Ohio State Buckeyes did just that. Outright Big Ten champs, baby.
Questions? He said it all. We've got to take a quick break. We'll be right back on Buckeye Football Fever. First half highlights brought to you by Taco Bell. Wow, here we go.
You missed
Dot that I.
You missed where the guy put his whole entire hat on the ground, not just the feather. That was incredible. You should have put that in there.
Flexible. Here come the Bucks. Number 1 team in the country, Troy Smith.
Big hug.
Final game at home.
Big hug to Daddy.
And this one's for Bo. Michigan fans, there was a nice moment of silence for the 103rd time. And look at Michigan coming out. They want Manningham right away to the 46. Penny was on target early because he had time to throw. Wants Manningham again, and he's on the money, and that's going to the 1. Very next play, Mike Hart bounces outside and walks in for a 7-0 lead 2.5 minutes into the game. So the Buckeyes are now in the battle. They have to answer 3rd and 16 from midfield. Troy avoids the blitz and delivers to Roy Hall. Had a big game today to the 25. And then watch this nice little play fake. He wants Stan White, sees it into the hands, and he's down at the 1. 3rd and goal. Troy looks right, rifles to Roy Hall, and quickly we've got a 7-7 game. Defense starting to adjust nicely.
This is a great pick play by Ohio State and left him wide open in the corner. Kind of illegal, actually, but it worked out for us.
A little pressure on Henny here. Lawrence Wilson on the final play of the first quarter dumps him. The hits start coming. Troy.
Oof. Nice run, but he takes a wallop right there.
Yeah, David Harris got him, but one miss by Sean Crable there leads to a monster highlight. That freshman Chris Wells.
Great
the spin.
Play.
Watch him go 52 for the end zone. He's in there. 14-7 Bucks.
Great play. And this is right here, his ability to create as a runner. Here, first guy miss, breaks a tackle, stiff arm. For a young guy, that is incredible right there. Now he gets out, big boy, running with speed.
All right, they go back to work after that great touchdown. Troy getting away from the pressure, finds Brian Robisky coming back to help.
On a bullet.
Shakes senior Leon Hall. Now he's in the open field.
Now he's in the open field, but right here he should just go to the right. I think he panics and then runs right into the guy. That's a young guy getting in the open field for the first time, and he panics, don't know what to do.
Nice play, though, and on 2nd and inches, Ted Ginn is open. They surprise him going deep, 21-7.
And Michigan tried that, actually, and it backfired against them later in the game.
All right, now they got the big lead. Michigan trying to get back in it right before half. Ooh. Mike Hart working his magic.
Great move.
140 yards unofficially on the day for Hart. And then a pass interference on Malcolm Jenkins here. Why?
Because after 5 yards, he made contact with the wide receiver, and you cannot touch the wide receiver after 5 yards. That was kind of picky, I think.
After a Buckeye sack, when Henny has time, he's good. Has Adrian Arrington, Donald Washington.
And that's just a fly-by tackle is what we call those.
He went with the guy that went to the post, left Arrington open. It's 21-14. Final couple minutes is plenty of time for Troy. Go Gonzo to the Michigan 30. Gonzo again. Nice catch to the 12. 20 seconds. Gonzo on the slant. Buckeye touchdown.
Take it home, Gonzo.
4 catches on the drive, 80 yards in 2 minutes, 8 seconds to make it 28-14. Buckeyes at half on the Pizza Pan scoreboard. We'll be right back. Now to the second half highlights brought to you by Taco Bell. Bucks got the ball to start the second half, and Michigan forced a 3-and-out. They got a short field, and they make it work. That's Mike Hart finding a hole, breaks it to the 16. Got a good block there, and they're going to go again to Hart.
Hart, that's what they should have kept doing that all game. They stopped giving him the ball at one point.
Down to the 3.
Every time.
And then back to Hart, and less than 3 minutes into the second half, Michigan got the ball back and scored, so it's 28-21, and it's game on again. Momentum is swinging, 3rd and 9. They blitz Troy, and he'll force it here.
Yeah, bad decision on his part. He was covered by 2 people, and I think it was Rubisky at that point.
Deflected and picked off by Allen Branch, and they are in business at the Buckeye 22. But Ohio State stopped them quickly. Wolverines will pick up 3. Rivas is good, and it's 28-24. Bucks need a pick-me-up in a big way, and they'll get it from the junior from Akron. Antonio Pittman, 2nd and short, gets the hole, and he's gone. 56 yards. Unofficially 138 on the day.
Against Michigan.
35-24.
Here we go. This is just a flat-out great blocking play, pulled by the guard, and he gets up the middle, breaks the tackle, and he runs.
Steve Raring with a nice pull there, and that's speed.
That's as simple as it gets right there in football.
Michigan trying to answer. Henny hits Arrington. Nice throw for a big gain. Michigan now, they'll go for it on a 4th and 10 at the Buckeye 35. And they're throwing it 7 yards short of the first down. Breston will never get there.
Yeah, you got to at least go for the 10 yards for the first down.
Final ticks of the 3rd quarter. Dadish with the high snap. Troy can't handle it. Michigan recovers at the Buckeye 9.
Yeah, that was just a bad snap. I mean, Troy's got to handle that, though, but he tried to get out of there too soon and left the ball hanging. And then you got to fall on it. You got to get it. That ball's hard to catch when it's rolling on the ground.
4th quarter, they run the end around to Breston, and he gets a block, and he's going to dive for the end zone, and they call him in, but they overruled it. They said he's down at the 1. So now 3rd and goal, Mike Hart, power running.
Second effort. Strong kid for a small kid.
He's good. Suddenly, it's a 4-point game, 35-31. Bucks trying to retake momentum. Again.
Great move. Oh, great
Wow.
move.
Unofficially 8 catches for 103 yards. That's a great move. But what happens here at the Michigan 32?
I don't know.
Dadish with the short hike. Ball's on the turf. Michigan recovers.
It doesn't even go to the back. It goes to the side. And then right here is where Troy makes a mistake. You got to just fall on the ball in this situation.
The Buckeyes defense stops him cold. 3rd down, incomplete. That was a huge play. Offense keeps coming. Nice fake.
Great.
Kind of a little Statue of Liberty to Pittman.
And great run. He almost falls, but he keeps his balance. He gets downfield, gets smacked out of bounds.
Averaging nearly 8 yards a run today, Antonio Pittman. Big play here on 3rd and long.
Helmet to helmet.
Sean Crable belts Troy.
It's illegal. Helmet to helmet.
15 yards and a first down at the 23. Under 6 minutes to go. Smith with a ton of time. Brian Rubisky at the pylon, a rocket. 42-31.
Stop and go.
And they hang on 42-39.
I said we'd win by 1 point.
You were close.
Close.
Pizza Pan scoreboard. A win is a win is a win is a win, and it's big over Michigan. We'll be back. Take a look at the Nationwide Insurance play of the game. I thought it was a big one. Buckeyes leading by 4, middle of the 3rd quarter, and Pittman breaks it.
I can't give you that one play of the game, partner.
I thought it was big.
That helmet.
I thought it was big momentum.
No, helmet to helmet.
Momentum.
Crable. Come on.
He dropped 138 yards on them today with Beanie, almost 200 combined. This Michigan had momentum. This is the one that broke the game. Because this gave them 35 points, and 35 was big at that point.
I see what you mean, but that Crable hit on the sideline, on our sideline of Troy, that had to be play of the game.
Well, that was a play of the game. How's that? I had to pick one, buddy. Sorry. We're back after this. Welcome back to the Fever. What a season. Classic 1 versus 2 battle. Goes to Ohio State, 42-39. You look at the stat sheet, and you think Michigan would be very happy their defense getting 39 points to play with.
I can't believe they scored that many points. What did you say the total was? 81 points
81
or so?
points, yeah.
In a Michigan versus Ohio State, and that's not normal because usually it's a game of running and busting each other in the face. But, you know, we got a great opportunity to pass the ball and people making big plays and things, and we're going to the desert. And take care, give care, love you. You're over. It's done.
See you in January.